take Ray J phone. Give me your phone, Ray. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, thank you for your phone, Ray. Thank you. We love you, Ray.
Multiple gunshots,
Y'all
clear the
make
block.
some noise for Ray J.
The fun stopped. Snitches is calling cops, people shot. Nobody stopped. I wonder when the world stopped caring. Last night 2 kids shot while the whole block staring. I will never understand this society. First they try to murder me, then they lie to me. Product of a dying breed. All my homies trying weed. Now the little baby's crazed, raised on Tennessee. Tell me will my enemies flee when they see me? Believe me, these dogs gotta learn to take it easy. Listen through intermissions, search your heart for a plan. And we turning bad boys to grown men. It's on again. I give a holler to my niggas in the darkest corners. Roll a perfect blunt and let me spark it for you. One love from a thug nigga. Rolling with a posse full of paranoid drug dealers. To the end, my friend, I'm seeing nothing but my dreams coming true. While I'm staring at the world through my rear view. See, I'm seeing nothing but my dreams coming true. While I'm staring at the world through my rear view. They got me staring at the world through my rear view. Go on, baby, scream to God, he can't hear you. I can feel your heart beating fast, cause it's time to die. Getting high, watching time fly, and all my motherfuckers
do shit like that. Lets me further know what it is you really do.
I try. What's going on, y'all? I'm your host with the motherfucking most, Chill Motherfucking Murray. You are now tuned in live from the spot. Shout out to everybody tuning in, not tuning in. You know how we doing, how we rock. I think I do need to start playing. I just like having the jazzy lo-fi in the back because it just has a better tone to things. I think, you know, it just has a better tone to the vibe we're gonna have tonight, at least, you know. Let me see here.
How are creators doing so well on YouTube? They're investing in.
They just gonna give me ads, right? It's gonna be ads. They gonna find a way to give me an ad. I got. Yeah, I do got some videos. I still do got some videos that I got. Yeah, I did not check my camera tonight. Bucket. 2 tears in the bucket, taking to the stage. I don't know who's up in here. Usually the chat is going, but I usually wait till I see somebody. I'm trying to go at least 4 to 5 times a week now, versus y'all getting me every 2 weeks or 1 week. I'm trying to go 4 or 5 nights a week. Like, fuck it, we just here. You know what I mean? We just here. First of all, rest in peace to Carrie Hiroyuki. I think I'm saying this name right. I apologize. Carrie Hiroyuki, aka Shang Tsung, played in Mortal Kombat, Hihachi, a few other movies as well. Let's make sure I pay tribute to that man very well. Japanese legend. Died at the age of 75 from a stroke. Original Mortal Kombat star. Let me show y'all real quick what I'm talking about. I might as well. Hello. Legendary actor Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. Born September 27th, 1950. died December 4th. Japanese-born actor and film producer, best known for his role in evil shapeshifter sorcerer Shang Tsung. But they had other movies, of course. Showdown in Little Tokyo. He was Hihachi in Tekken. American Me. Johnny Tsunami. Bridge of Dragons. Rising Sun. Hachi, A Dog's Tale. It's in quite a few movies. Quite a few. Rest in peace to the legend. Definitely rest in peace to the legend. I wanted to play. Well, matter of fact, do I have any like tributes to my guy? Do I have like Shang Tsung videos I can say? See which one I got. Where they got the famous clip? Yeah, they do. Let me pause that. Ed Boon. Yeah, thank you, Ed Boon. So, and for those who don't know who Ed Boon is the creator of Mortal Kombat. So for him to post this was the monumental right here. Of course, this is the iconic scene that he's known for.
Your brother's soul is mine.
You're here to compete in
Iconic role.
Mortal Kombat.
You can thank me later.
Some of the 90s legendary movies like this are just amazing.
I am Shang Tsung, and this
Can never be
is my
duplicated.
island. I bid you welcome to explore.
He even got to be in the game. The last two games.
Yet again, you betray Earthrealm.
Are you surprised, Raiden?
Only that it took you so long.
Hush you
Flawless victory.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Carrie. Rest in peace. All right. In other news. Let me see here. They called it nipple magic, nipple craft. I can't even believe I'm looking this up, nipple craft. So, reason why I'm looking this up here is because Erykah Badu is apparently in the news for her latest performance. I don't know why. Okay, where's the picture at now? Where's the picture at now? All right. So I was trying to find. Yeah, here it goes.
So don't nobody give a damn about the outfit. Nah, them titty nipples stole the show. Don't nobody give a damn about the outfit. Nah, them titty.
So as you can see, this is what she's been going viral over for the past 24 hours. Is this particular outfit here while she was performing, and they were calling it nipple craft.
Man, allegedly, Erykah Badu is now using nipple craft, a form of magic so strong it can hypnotize the entire male population. Is this demonic? I guess that's the craft right there. I don't think it's demonic because everybody knows that Erykah Badu has been with several famous men in famous relationships and has a son by probably the best rapper of all time. And she did all of that while dressed like a Chipotle bag. looked like she would put on 3 Kroger bags, 2 headbands, a wristband on her stomach, and still would pull these dudes. So I don't think the nipples had anything to do with it. I don't think Dre made songs about the nipples. He was making songs about her 34 size husky jeans. She would pull men with berries in her earrings. So I don't think it's demonic at all. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I will speak on is the fact that people may be or may be not aware of Erykah Badu's ways of witchcraft. She's never shied away from it. She's never shied away from her ability to, craft spell. You've seen the Badu pussy perfume that she has. You've seen, her with the beads. You've seen her openly perform rituals on Instagram. You've seen different things like that. Like she's always been out there and never gave a fuck about it. And if you notice, that's one of the ways that she also stays, relevant. Remember, we're talking about Erykah Badu from the 90s, late 90s Erykah Badu, okay? So she's been around, for about 30 years now. So that's not, by accident or luck, That's, of course, you staying in the practices of Hollywood, of course. And, like I said, Erykah Badu is one that is very fond of the arts. So them calling it nipple craft is just a joke on things, I think. I don't necessarily think she would be the one to call it nipple craft. But I think a lot of her, her wear, the things that her outfits are very artistic, if anything. She's always trying to have a certain expression, an artistic expression with the clothes that she wears. What the artistic expression here was to stand out is beyond me, okay? It stretches beyond the length of that shirt at this point, or the width of that shirt, I should say. Bazookas, if you will. Missiles pointing out of it. I'm talking about diamond cutters. Like, things is hard, like it's cold in there. Like, trust me when I tell you, if that's her if that's a very fitting, let me say it like that too. If that is a fitted outfit that she has on, my goodness. Again, you see what Andre is, what he was just talking about. Andre was rapping about, what Jay Electronica raps about, what he was ready to die for up at Breakfast Club, what had Common sitting outside holding signs up at the window. The list goes on, okay? Got Andre 3000 riding the bike and playing with wind instruments. He don't even want to rap no more. He got that. I understand. I understand, my brother. I understand. So, all right. Let's see, because we didn't have much. We don't have much. We don't have much here. We don't have much here. But we have enough here. Don't have much here, but we have enough here. So, Ray J. Remember what I said before about, I don't even know if we talked about the incident with the kids, did we? No, we didn't even get to talk about the incident with Princess. Well, actually, I think we did. Yeah, we did. We did talk about the incident with Princess and him holding the gun. I gotta put the video out for that. Reacting to that. But if you haven't noticed, Ray J is in quite of a pickle lately. And like I said, this is they're gonna make it look like I'm crazy stage. So now he's getting messages from Mario. Now I would hope this isn't the AI, man. I would hope this is AI. But apparently Mario has DM'd Ray J some very weird messages. Satan wants your soul. He even corrected himself from soil. Satan wants your soul. I spoke to him today. LOL. Don't give it to him. Not on no gay shit. Don't try to flip it. I'm talking about entity introductions. You know to know Where you trying to go? I can get you. I can get yo there. I don't know if he's trying to say get you there, but I can get you there sooner, and no one will be able to get you out, Ray J. I got you, kid. Your soul is going now. Of course, Ray J goes, damn, bro. It wasn't this serious. Shake my head. You talk to the devil, and now you taking my soul? Wow. Like, I was taken back. I was taken back by this. But at the same time, matter of fact, let me look at this real quick. Let me show y'all this real quick. Because as much as I was taken back by Mario doing this, I'm like, what? Okay, was Mario in a trance while he was saying this? Was he literally talking to the devil? Because it's believable when you know about Mario dabbling in the arts. Let me see if I stumble upon it when he was talking about it on the radio. Yeah, see, Mario admits he practices witchcraft. Where's the radio? There it goes. There it goes. Right here. This right here. This clip right here.
What's going on, y'all? Fabian Speaks, man.
I don't think people critically think about how much witchcraft and what witchcraft actually represents or what it means, right? When you say it to a person who understands occult knowledge, and when I say that, I just mean the things that most people don't study, right? That's something that means you practice certain rituals based on intentions that have certain outcomes.
Mm-hmm. You see how he made that so blase? That's not the true definition at all.
In fact, let me see if I can find a better one. Oh, is this full? Yeah, it's better. It's much better.
Witchcraft. Do I don't think people critically think about how much witchcraft and what witchcraft actually represents or what it means, right? When you say it to a person who understands occult knowledge, and when I say that, I just mean the things that most people don't study, right? That's something that means you practice certain rituals based on intentions that have certain outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to call it witchcraft? Cool. You want to call it spirituality? Cool. But I think that when people say, oh, that's witchcraft, it's because they don't understand that they also are involved in witchcraft and don't even know it in life. People performing on them, commercials performing on you. There's so much going on that people don't understand. I'm a person who like to bring things to the light slowly. And I don't mind people judging it what they don't understand. It's fine. I'm here. I'm a teacher. I'm a student and a teacher at the same time. So what you saw me carrying was a staff with a bunch of crystals on it that all work to.
Which, let me pause that and show that. Tamiko Show, what's going on? What's going on, love? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Mario staffed witchcraft. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh. Yeah, when he gifted Kai Cenat the staff here.
Like, it's the end of the summer, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm trying to close out the summer with the most positive energy ever. I got a lot of great things happening.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like my.
See, there was a lot of weird shit happening on this Mafia-thon 3. And if you notice, after Mafia-thon 3, Kai Cenat, of course, took a break from streaming, and we haven't seen him. Someone hit me and said, I think he's being cloned somewhere. I think so, too. Very possible. Because he also cut his hair after the stream was over, too. So pretty much, I guess, LeBron James did it live on air. He cut Kai Cenat's hair. So dreads are gone. But here, Mario is giving him this. They're calling it a crystal scepter.
Staff, bro. It's like got a bunch of crystals.
Did you make
on it. Nah.
So what does it mean?
A lot of these. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Damn, chat.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not big. So like this right here. So this is hematite because this activates the iron in your blood. Like it's from.
Damn. What made you get into it? What made you get into it though?
I've been in crystals for years, bro.
What?
Years, yeah. When I used to when I did a lot of like just healing work, bro. When I first moved to LA when I was like 23,
Yeah.
I moved from Baltimore. I was going through a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I just had to really get my life together. Damn. I got into crystals then.
Kai, you gotta be more careful.
He got into crystals back then. So let me continue off Mario explaining himself. So as you heard though, Mario's family is into the witchcraft. He's going to explain that here as well. But he's deep rooted in the arts. So, and I don't necessarily think it was just his family that taught him things, as well as now I'm seeing his actual success in the music industry and how he moves around. Like I said, similar to Erykah Badu. That's not by accident that certain singers are able to move around because they have the occult knowledge the way they do, and it helps them stay within their connections. It helps them stay within their ties of the Freemasonry and in the music industry. But some of them are able to move around low key and not worry about the glitz and glamour and the Billboard records and all that stuff. They just want to keep doing the music and tour forever. That's literally what they want to do. So you have artists like Mario, who, like I said, family is deep rooted in the knowledge of witchcraft. So he pretty much had I guess you could say, an extra step. He's an extra step ahead of things. He had a head start. That's what I was trying to say. He had a head start.
Both protect, emit, pull in, and ground energy. So I had about 16 different crystals I had on the staff. All of them have different purposes. And so at the top, I think I have an amethyst at the top and a quartz at the bottom, or vice versa. So quartz magnifies energy. There's quartz crystals in your phones. There's crystals in computers. Why? Because they're used as a conduit, right? They have some copper on there as well. Copper is what ancient Egyptians used to also ground energy and to protect and keep the energy flowing through their body. Then you have amethyst, which is a protection stone and cleansing stone. You have hematite and citrine and pyrite. Pyrite came from a meteorite that hit the planet over 50 million years ago. So pyrite represents vitality and movement. And also mercury, which is what I have tatted right here. A lot of people are like, oh, you got devil horns on your neck. That's not devil horns. It's this protect mercury. And mercury represents communication and creativity. So a lot of the things that I do is based on intention and based on, it helps me to keep my energy protected, but it also helps me to keep things moving, because there's a lot of energy that's moving around us that we can't see every day. Right? So I believe in that. I've been studying that and I've been moving like that, and I feel like it keeps me it just keeps me protected and grounded and keeps me in the right space, bro. That's why I brought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ain't got it with you right now, dude.
I don't travel with it.
Okay. Okay.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
It's amazing, bro. It's truly amazing, bro. And I would say this to people: if you're ever unsure about something, just do your research. Do your research, because what you'll find is that there may be something that you connect with and you be like, let me try this for myself. And it may be something that works for you. It helps you in life. And you'd be surprised what our ancestors were into, how they were protecting themselves during times of the dark age of Mercury, and how they were praying and what they were praying to and how they were getting supported in a lot of ways. Like, we can't be scared of the knowledge that's actually ours and for us. That's what I will say. We obviously when I grew up, everything was fearful. Everything was like, don't do that, nigga, you're gonna go to hell. Don't brush my feet with the spoon. Spit on the broom. Like,
yeah. Don't split the pole.
Don't split the pole. You give power to these things. Like, what are you giving it power for? It's just like, you gotta take the power back into your own hands. We have to do that, because I'm gonna say this. There's a lot of witchcraft, because witchcraft can be both good and
good and bad.
Good and bad. There's a lot of witchcraft that's performed on our people that we don't even know it. But because we're scared of it, we won't even study it to understand how to undo shit that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the opposite. I grew up in that mindset, and then when I was 23, I became a mystic, and I started practicing the opposite way. And
he became a mystic. So in the Bible, a mystic isn't a formal title, but describes figures who experience direct, transformative encounters with God through visions. Ezekiel, burning bushes, Moses, or intimate communion, Mary, Jesus, focusing on deep, often ineffable spiritual union beyond mere intellect. I hate when that damn message comes up. I just gotta make sure the stream is still going. But yeah, okay.
And it's been changing my life ever since. And I promise you, and how they were praying and what they were praying to and how they were getting supported in a lot of ways. Like, we can't be, in 10 years from now, you're going to look and see the same person and be like, how the fuck is he doing that? So if you want to say it's witchcraft, say it's witchcraft. But if you want to say it's a person who understands and studies, then that's I think that's the right way to go about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last thing,
so
what is a mystic?
Oh, basically a person who studies the unknown, knowledges of existence. I don't have any type of association with any religious cult or group.
Oh, okay.
I'm a mystic, so I study a little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
See how you said that? That's pretty much what we just looked up. It's just someone that has a direct, when you're directly in tune with God, pretty much, or directly in tune with your spiritual knowledge and your belief.
And yeah, and it's been very helpful with me to understand how to navigate myself through this realm. Yeah.
But yeah. So weird, yeah, that he sent that to Ray J. But far-fetched, not so much. And I think, like I said, Mario might have been in one of those, he just might have been in one of those trances to where he actually did talk to the devil. And I'm thinking this is more of a situation where he was trying to warn Ray J not to go further. That's what it sounds like to me. He was trying to warn Ray J, hey, if you get any type of sign that says something might happen to you, I advise you to avoid it. I advise you to not listen to pretty much how that conscience thing happens. Like, we have the good conscience and the bad conscience. The God and the devil trying to tell you your choices. That whole Asiatic mathematics thing where you are the God and the devil in one person. So pretty much just trying to warn Ray J, don't listen to your devil, because it might cost you next time. That's really what he's trying to warn him of saying, because there's a lot of times Ray J has been letting his devil win. A la what happened with Thanksgiving when he pulls a gun out when he doesn't have to. So, and notice how that even got slid up under the rug that fast. That got slid up under the rug real quick. Real quick. So, again, like I said, not far-fetched. Understandable, not necessarily far-fetched. And I was playing the clip earlier of Monica taking Ray J's phone at the show. They was just being playful with it. Pretty much, he came to the show and Monica took his phone from him in the crowd. Now, ironically, Beyonce and Jay-Z even showed up there. Beyonce and Jay-Z have been just popping up at the weirdest of weird places. Popping up at the weirdest of weird places. So we'll take a little side tour here. Take a little side tour here. Where's my video I looked at earlier? Here we go. Here we go.
Today I'm going to make...
Here we go.
His 70th birthday party. So let's talk about Kris Jenner's guy's 70th birthday party. So many stars,
Kim Kardashian mom celebrated her 70th birthday. Don't even look
celebrities,
70.
wealthy individuals.
Don't even look 70, do she? Hold up, real quick. Kris Jenner does not look 70. She does not look 70. I mean, she getting up there in age. But that recent surgery she just did, So this is how she really look right now, with the makeup and everything. That's what I was saying. Certain pictures and certain lights, you can see the age. Like this one here. Like this one, she looks 70. Reveals the only part of her face that's real. So everything is pretty much Botox and other shit and concoctions in it. Crazy difference, right? 2007 and 2025. Hold on, I gotta see this. Look at the compare. This is her in 2007. Nope. Versus how she look in 2005. 2025. My goodness. What makeup does. Makeup and money. Look what makeup and money do. Look what makeup and money do.
Individuals were present, but this was like a party like no other, because the amount of people on the guest list, it looks like the Kardashians are moving up in Hollywood society, because they were able to invite every single person who has power in Hollywood. Hey guys, that's Murad Morali. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this video where Kris Jenner turned 70, and of course they've uploaded the pictures. You have the likes of Oprah and Gayle King who attended. You even have Mark Zuckerberg who attended. The event was taking place at Jeff Bezos's house, his mansion.
And this is where I said, wait. Wait, because it made perfect sense what he said too. But then I was like, wait, why are they moving up? How are they moving up? Like, they moving up in Hollywood, but I mean, they already been at the top of the heap. Like, what the fuck could be happening that they're moving up in a higher status right now, right? I'm like, Kim Kardashian, her Skims line is doing phenomenal, I know, but Kris Jenner, I don't necessarily know what she's necessarily doing in business right now that could be elevating her up. I know Kylie Jenner's a billionaire. She's doing her thing. But like I said, what's happening that the whole Kardashian family is just elevating like this to where you're doing a whole 70th birthday party at Jeff Bezos' house. That's when I said stop. What in the all-white party Met Gala shit is happening here? What's going? And then Jay-Z and Beyonce show up, but they show up on some, all right, nobody takes pictures of us, nobody can see us here. Mark Zuckerberg's there, Oprah's there, God knows who else is there. There are billionaires in the same roof. Who the fuck? What has changed and what is happening? It is what I am asking.
How on earth she was able to do such a thing? Well, her daughters and her were, I believe, invited to Jeff Bezos' wedding, and from then Kris Jenner knew how to network to the point where she was able to use his house probably for free to do this party in exchange for inviting so many wealthy individuals to Jeff Bezos' house.
Amazon offers hourly.
I hate ads. I hate ads.
Reporting, guys, that Beyonce and Jay-Z did their best James Bond impression in order to sneak into Kris Jenner's themed birthday party, and without getting a photo of each one of them attending. Multiple sources with knowledge tell TMZ the pop star and her rapper husband pulled up. Now, to me, it's very bizarre that Beyonce and Jay-Z would turn up to anything related to the Kardashians, because there was a time, guys, where neither one of them wanted to be associated with Kim, but had to be because Kanye was dating Kim, and Kanye was very close to the clan, and Kanye and Jay-Z just came out with their own album. So what has changed from then, where both of them did not want to be associated with, you know, Kris or the Kardashian clan, to now them attending birthday parties? And
especially since Beyonce don't like Kim and Kim don't like Beyonce. They ain't never liked each other. Especially with the comparison they always had. Kim Kardashian is the Beyonce, you know what I mean? Like, it's always been that tit for tat. So I don't even know what. This is why I get why they didn't want to be seen there. But now, like I said, what was the business about? That's my question. What was the business about? Why are they elevating in Hollywood, and what made it so certain people had to be there to celebrate this is what I'm saying. What made it so certain people were there to network certain things?
Jay-Z was papped. He was in the back of a car seen attending this party. So the relationship here is very different to what it was before. And I think that purely it's because the Kardashian clan have built billion-dollar enterprises. Then Kylie's lip kit stuff was definitely emerging. And of course, you've got Kim Kardashian's skin. Is it called skin? Not skin, sorry. Skims. There we go. Her skin line actually has gone defunct, but her Skims line is a billion-dollar enterprise, and it's made so much money. And of course, Kris Jenner seems to be the brain of all of this. Not only that, but Kris Jenner is so clever that she was able to do all of this at Jeff Bezos' house, one of the most wealthy people. So clearly, the Kardashians have moved up massively in the past 2 decades in regards to wealth, status, money. Everything has increased. So of course, Jay-Z would be flocking around people who are making a large abundance of money, because Beyonce and Jay-Z could learn a thing from them or two. Because look at Skims. It's such an enterprise that's gained so much money. Look at Kris Jenner.
It's not the business part, because we're talking about Jay-Z here as far as being business savvy. So we're not talking about business and trying to learn a thing or two. We're definitely not talking about that. There's something going on in Hollywood that is changing. Not even in Hollywood. There's something going on within the industry in general that's changing right now. And I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if they're... see, things like this... There's 2 ways you can look at this. One, we could be celebrating someone that's going to be passing soon. This could be a ritual for someone that is going to be passing soon, that has had a very hierarchy in, in LA period, and in the industry period, behind the scenes. We're talking about a Kardashian. We're talking about someone that, has been around the elites for quite some time and had some power for quite some time. So I'm wondering now if this is someone that could be either passing away soon, or I should say a ritual for someone passing away soon, or could this be a ritual for someone that has reached a certain, like a 33rd degree Mason getting celebrated type of thing. You know what I mean? So what level of her craft has she elevated to that everybody is celebrating her? Is she like a certain empress level? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Because like I said, this has nothing to do with business and money. This has all to do with someone reaching, like I said, a certain hierarchy within the elites. And something has changed to where Jay-Z, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are now coming back into the States to show up at Jeff Bezos' house, of all people, to celebrate Kris Jenner.
Jenner, she clearly has a good marketing mind. Look at how they networked and got all of these people in this event. Of course, people like Jay-Z wants to be around. Jay-Z was just in the Middle East trying to make money over there. Jay-Z.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Like something is definitely changing, and with Jay being, that's what he had to come back into the States for this shit. Like, he's been moving around internationally for like the past 2 years. He hasn't really been in the States. He's been moving around, especially since the Diddy case happened. We ain't seen Jay in the U.S. till now.
He's got a partnership with NFL, trying to make money over there. So, of course, the man wants to make money anywhere. That is the priority. That's why Beyonce is coming out with so many products. That's why she's going on these album tours, releasing albums every 2 years. Money, 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 money. And so this is why I believe that they have now...
I dare you to let me build...
These ads is annoying me. All right, this will be the last video we look at with ads.
This boundary between the Kardashians and now actually want to be friends with them, because there was a time where they looked down on them, where they felt like better than you, we're accomplished, we're talented, you guys are not. And now the tables have changed, where the Kardashians actually have built these huge enterprises, continue to...
No, see, this is what I want to know. This is where I want to know. We're going to skip over this. Not skip over this. We're going to move on from this in a second. I just want to see something real quick. See what I'm saying? Kris Jenner's net worth is only $170 million. maybe even up to 230. Right? What are we talking about? Compared to 215 billion? That's what I said. Someone's being celebrated in their hierarchy of witchcraft. This ain't got nothing to do with money. Man, $241.3 billion is Bezos' net worth. 241 billion. $2.5 billion. $826 million. She's 3 times Kris Jenner's money, Beyonce. Oprah's $3.2 billion. Mark's $230 billion. This ain't shit to do with no money. This ain't got nothing to do with no money. Somebody is being celebrated in their hierarchy. There is something changing. Fantamos, what's going on? The pyramid is changing. That is what's going on. The same way I said Jay-Z pretty much took over. What's his name? Forgive me now. Oh my goodness, and it's right in front of me and I still can't say it. Clarence Avant. Clarence Avant. When Jay-Z took over Clarence Avant's position as the Black Godfather. And pretty much it's just, that's why he's been moving around out of the state ever since, like I said, Clarence Avant pretty much passed away. He's pretty much taken over. I noticed right after Clarence Avant passed away, the Diddy shit started happening. If you notice the spiral of that, Jay-Z becomes Black Godfather. Diddy goes to jail. The Kardashians and the Jenners move up. Went out loud, I guess. Diddy being so loud about things is pretty much why I guess they pushed him out. Versus the other ones that are able to move within silence still. But like I said, this ain't about no money. This ain't about no money. This ain't got shit to do with no money. You at somebody's house that's worth $240 billion. You are only worth a cool 230 mil. Majority of the people that are there have more in their net worth than you. I don't want to hear nothing about they, nigga. This ain't got shit to do with no money. this, like I said, Kris Jenner is either, and I'm sorry to say it like this, but either she's going to be passing soon, or she, like I said, is being celebrated in a different empress role right now. She has, if we're talking about any type of elevation, we're talking about someone that can now call shots in a certain way. Similar to how her late ex-husband was able to move around in Hollywood, Rob Kardashian Sr. And when I get into the doc, we'll get into the ways that she was also taught from her ex-fiance Caesar, who pretty much introduced her to the connections in LA in her early starts of moving around in business. So like I said, she is very connected. Ain't got shit to do with the money as much as she is just very connected with all of the elites. And like I said, her hierarchy now has gotten to a certain level of witchcraft to where, all right, give another example. How Beyonce, whenever she's at the Grammys, everybody has to thank Beyonce. Beyonce has elevated to a certain level of the craft, to where everybody is pretty much nervous of even upsetting a Beyonce because of her hierarchy on a certain level of the throne. Like I said, it's nothing to do with music careers and whatnot and money. It's like I said, we're talking about spiritual witchcraft. Like we were just talking about with Mario, him having his little, I guess you could say, out of body experience talking to Ray J in the DMs. And we're gonna get into human hybrid, human hybrid projects here in a second here on the pod today. Got something special for y'all from the Y-Files. But before we get into that, I am going to I wanted to look at this funny shit here real quick. Because I'm still trying to figure out what possessed my man to, even think he could.
Put it on my soul.
They played. I'm mad they playing music. All right. Turn the music off. Because somebody explain to me what the hell he was doing here. Somebody explain to me what in God's name is this scrawny man doing here? The fact that he thought this was a workout is the funnier part. Just playing around in the gym. Now that's a plate. Now he lifting the whole plate, but I get what he's doing, which takes some strength, but at the same time, why are you doing this? That might not even be a plate. That might be a 25 on there. No, that's a 35. That's a 35 on there. That's not a 45. That definitely ain't no 45. He would not be doing that with no damn 45. That's two 35s on there. So, talking about 70 pounds plus the bar, 45. Talking about cool 120, 130, 120. 125, excuse me. 125, am I right? Yeah, 125. Cool 125. No, because I said the bar's, 35 or 45? Depending upon bar, about 35, 40 pounds. So, 70, but yeah, about 110, 115, actually. He was just lifting about 110 pounds in one arm. I don't understand what he was trying to prove here. But of course, Meek knows how to make himself the laughing stock of the day by doing shit like this. I for the life of me couldn't understand what he was trying to do. I said about cool 110 pounds he lifted in one arm. But it looked like he's about to break his goddamn back in the arm trying to do it. But see, certain shit like that you shouldn't play around in the gym. Also, that's just certain practices you should not have in the gym. So that's another reason why I hate that he would do a video like this. Because what if the damn thing dropped on his head? What if the damn thing just would have tipped over? Just tipped over to the left real quick. Poor Meek. Then we would have been saying poor Meek Mill. Instead of ha look at Meek Mill, we would have said damn poor Meek Mill. The fuck? Don't play around the gym like that, Meek. Don't be doing all that shit. You definitely hurt yourself doing shit like that, Meek. For real, for real. All right, let me play this video here from Gene Deal. Oh, did y'all see the for those that didn't see the intro, real quick before I play Gene Deal. This here too. So this was a art exhibit by as you see, Regular Animals is an art exhibit by the digital artist Mike Winkelmann, widely known as pple. So pretty much they were doing this little art convention, and certain people how it's not just regular art like in a museum. Certain people have like different art displays, like how what's my guy? It's a famous, not graffiti. It's a famous graffiti, but oh my goodness. Hold on, I'll look him up right now. Let me see. Little girl holding balloon. What's my guy's name? It's right on the tip of my tongue too. Banksy. So similar to how Banksy does his art pieces. This is similar to what this is similar to what like a Banksy would do. So Banksy, if you guys don't know, is a very famous artist, internationally known, and he pretty much is known for doing different art pieces, symbolizing world peace and different things that's going on in the world and different problems that's going on in the world. Very symbolic pieces. Banksy is known for. I think one day we will watch a Banksy documentary just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Banksy, like I said, is an phenomenal artist. But this is what pple did, and he calls it regular animals. As you can see, it's Jeff Bezos. I'm not sure who this guy is, probably a senator or something like that. But you got Elon Musk and their little robot dogs, pretty much. And just little regular animals. So, as part of an art basel, Miami Beach's inaugural AI sector, 010 was an instant hit at the VIP opening. So you got little robot dogs with masks heads of different celebrities. Like I said, this is brilliant to me. The project features flesh-colored robot dogs reminiscent of Rock'em Sock'em robots. Each one wears the face mask of a famous man: Andy Warhol, Pablo Picasso, Elon Musk. Okay, so that's who those are. Oh, that's who those other people were. The dogs snap images of the crowd and then poop out original artworks in the style of the person they represent. Oh my God. These range from Musk's black and white cognitive blueprint series to Zuckerberg's blue tone metaversal, Picasso's cubist take, and more. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. That's funny. So he's pooping out right now. He's scanning himself. Yeah. It looks weird, but I like I said, I get the artistic expression of things. All right, let me play this Gene Deal video here. So Gene Deal pretty much is breaking his silence, if you will, about what happened with the Diddy doc and his thoughts on things.
Gene Deal, welcome back, my guy. Been a while, man.
It has been, but I'm here, and I figured that after this 50 documentary, you'll be giving me a call. Told you I ain't turning down nothing but my collar when it comes to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, I had to bring you back. This documentary got everyone talking, man. A lot of people want to know why you wasn't in it, man.
Well, first and foremost, I thought I was going to be in the documentary at first until I started talking to that director. I think her name is Stapleton. I don't know her name. The white chick, I don't know, man. Me and 50 talked like 45 minutes. The producers had been calling me and everything. So this one night, 50 called me up, and they got him on the phone. Me and him was just talking. We was talking about old time shit. Sit down with Black Hands. Sit down with with Puff Kids.
So if you guys don't remember last night, we were looking at pretty much Gene Deal said he wanted half. he was joking about it. I think he's still joking about it in a sense, but maybe now he's not necessarily joking about it. He'll probably break it down what he's talking about with saying that he wanted half, because he's saying that they pretty much took not 50 Cent, but they pretty much took what his interpretation of everything was, and just flipped it into their own little story. Or I should say they flipped it onto their own little thing with the Netflix documentary. If you notice, a lot of things are things that Gene Dale was the first person to break down in a lot of his interviews. A lot of the information was already out there, just that people didn't necessarily believe it until, like I said, you got a lot of confirmation from people like I said, Kurt Burrows, who was pretty much the nail in the coffin of the narration of that documentary.
Whole Puff situation and this documentary that he's going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I told him that I was going to, have Kirk and Tim. Kirk will be the one who talk about the business part of it. Tim will be the one who talk about the growing up phase with Diddy and everything and over there working in the record industry with him and stuff like that. They was like family. And I was going to talk about, the street stuff, what was going on with Bad Boy, with the security, with Wolf, with the city college, with, the time that I knew about when I was with him up until about early 2004 or something like that. But basically the streets and then the traveling with him and the atmosphere and everything. And then go back into the Notorious Big stuff with the Tupac and the whole 9 yards, all the stuff that I knew. You know what I'm saying? So we was talking and he sounded like, yo, listen here. They gonna spare no expense with this whole documentary. So I said, all right, cool. So what I did was I spoke to Tim and I spoke to Kirk Burrows. And I was like, yo, because I had Tim's number. Tim didn't know how to get in touch with Kirk. Kirk didn't know how to get in touch with Tim. But Kirk was trying to tell me, give him the number with the Tim. I said, nah, I ain't doing that. So I gave one of the producers the number in the whole 9 yards to get in touch with Tim because I want to see him get money because I know Tim got a hell of a story with Puff. So then I talked to Tim and I told him, yo, listen here, man, we should go in as a package deal. All three of us, we could tell a hell of a story about this whole documentary. You know what I'm saying? From front to start. Then whatever stuff that they get and everything like that. So yo, let's go in there and ask them for 50 apiece. You know what I'm saying? So Tim was like with it, yo, Gene, whatever, go ahead like that. Kirk was like, yeah, okay, cool, Gene. It was like a general census that we was gonna do this in a whole package deal. You know what I'm saying? And then I started speaking to the producers and everything like that, because 50 had told me himself that they was gonna spare no cost in doing this because he wanted to tell the story and he wanted to tell the story like it was supposed to be told and everything like that. I said, yeah, okay. So then the director, I gotta get her name, man, because it don't even sound. I want to put her on blast because she was telling me, she was saying to me that what I was asking for was crazy and they wasn't spending money like that. I'm talking about you got footage, you got clothing, you got. I was doing footage. I had pictures. All the stuff that I had, you could figure out a way to pay a brother and stuff like that. And then I was telling her about some prices that I've already received, and I had the invoices to show it. And then she was calling me like I was lying. I was like, yo, who do you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about, there's no way nobody paid. Nobody what? I say, first of all you people come with these documentaries and stuff, the first thing you tell me, y'all tell these people out here that y'all don't pay, and y'all pay. You give, if you can make a picture look like $10,000, $15,000, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and tell me that you're gonna pay me for my time sitting right down here with y'all. You understand? So then, one thing led to another, and I was like, yo, all right, well then, F you, I spoke to 50, and then she said, 50? And this is exact words that came out her mouth. 50 does not determine what goes in and go out of this documentary. And he definitely don't pay, he determine what somebody get paid. It's not his documentary like that. I was like, oh, so if it's not his documentary and I spoke to him like that, I don't need to be doing nothing with you because I'm doing this on the strength of him. But you gonna pay me if I do it.
And that's the thing. So I get where Gene is even coming from because you got to understand, Gene, like he just broke it down. He was pretty much the blueprint for everything that was even going on in the documentary, which would explain why he wasn't in the documentary himself. So it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense why Gene wants not necessarily half, but he wants compensation for the information that was on, that they were able to even represent, or should I say put out there. Now, the other part of this is a lot of the information could have also came from Kurt Burrows. A lot of the information is stuff that's already out there. It's not necessarily Gene Deal's information solely. You know what I mean? A lot of the information was out there regardless if Gene Deal was to say it or not, because there's people that, like I said, there's other people besides Gene Deal that hung around Diddy. Like the people that you saw in the documentary, once again, those people, they spoke for free. It wasn't like those people were paid to talk about Diddy. Those people sat down and talked about Diddy for absolutely nothing. They pretty much are just expressing their personal experiences with him and their stories with him. And that's pretty much what the documentary was everybody's story and dealings with Diddy. It wasn't necessarily just about the experience of, or should I say, it wasn't necessarily just about, oh, he had something to do with Pac killing or he had something to do with Biggs killing. This was solely about people's experience with Diddy and what led up to everything leading up to his demise and his reckoning and fall from his plateau. This is pretty much, his farewell documentary, if you will. His farewell from the superstar that he was. So, like I said, I get and it makes sense what Gene Deal is trying to do, which I think he does. He should be, obligated to some compensation. But as far as wanting half or, a big lump sum of compensation for this, I don't think he's, barking up the right tree for this, especially since he's even saying himself, 50 is just the executive producer of the film. So that executive producer of the film, that part does hold weight as far as, the production goes and the publishing goes. But as far as, the actual dealings of certain things and certain information and how it was presented, that part necessarily doesn't go through 50. He's just the overseer of things.
So it went back and forth, for a little bit. And then they had Kirk Burrows giving me calls and everything like that. What are you calling me for? You know what I'm saying? I'm not, get out of here. I know what kind of dude you is anyway. Me and you cool and everything, Kirk, but don't call me about no business with this stuff like that. And then what I found out is that he was making a deal, cutting a deal for himself as well as Tim. You understand? And I was trying to get a deal for all three of us. You understand? So that's how them industry cats go. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying?
So now it even makes, okay. Now it makes sense where he's not speaking at it from a bitter standpoint, because he's not really Gene's never been known to be a bitter guy, but he's speaking from a standpoint of he feels snaked because, again, he thought of the idea of how to do this very type of documentary, and his idea was similar to what they actually did. They just took Kurt Burrows and a few other people and pretty much did what Gene would have done, but just in a different way, of course. That's what Gene is pretty much getting at. And he feels a little bit, he feels snaked behind his back that Kurt was doing the documentary that Gene presented to him with Netflix.
So I'm looking at it like this. So then he called me back again, and I told him, like, listen, man, don't you ever call my phone again, Kurt. You know what I'm saying? Because we had got into it about somebody calling him. He told me Groovy Lou called him and want to know why Gene's still doing this to Puff and everything like that. And I mentioned it on the Gene Deal show. You understand? I said something. Then he called me back like I was lying. And listen to me, Kurt. Don't call me about what these clowns and these niggas say right here, bro. I had nothing, and especially don't call me talking about what I gotta fix. When in fact, you know what you told me and you know what our conversation was. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing about why I'm not in the thing, the lady was talking greasy to me. She had no right to talk greasy to me. And then she told me that 50 didn't have the power to do anything, but they using his name to like push the whole documentary. And that's what it was about. So that's why you don't see a cameo other than the pictures they used of me on the film in the documentary. I got like 3 or 4 pictures in the documentary that I've seen of myself. You know, some people say they saw more, but I know three different times where I was certain places and you could actually see me in the documentary, and that's the only thing you're gonna get. But the stories that they told in the documentary, bruh, come on. They could have went a whole lot deeper. They could have did a whole lot more. So I ain't in the documentary because that lady that was the director, I think, what's her name? Alex, Alex Staple. You know her name, Mighty? Yo, Mighty, just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look this up, all right? Okay. Her name is Alex Stapleton. The director that I spoke to was Alex Stapleton. She was the one who told me that she was the director, she was the producer, whatever, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. And she was talking mad greasy to me. And listen here, it's no matter, after you talk that kind of talk to me, it's no amount of money she could have paid me anyway for me to get in there. You know, my story is more too valuable, getting in the depth or getting in depth with this whole stuff. And it would have helped that documentary a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? In actuality, they used all the stuff that I told them and did it the way that I was saying do it. Tim Dog started off with the childhood with Puff and the whole 9 yards. Kirk Burrows do the business part, but they was trying to put people in there like Mark Curry and other people to talk about the streets or what was going on, a certain thing. But Mark can only say so much. You know what I'm saying? Because he was an artist, so he wasn't with Puff like I was with him during that time when we was running back and forth here and there and the whole 9 yards. So, Miss Alex Stapleton is the one reason why I'm not in the documentary, but it's all right with me. I've been in a lot of documentaries. I did The Shine. I did the A&E. I did the Discovery Channel. I did the Fox. I've been in a whole lot of different documentaries, and I'm always on the art of dialogue. So the people been getting most of the information from here anyway.
Yeah, man, you always on here, man. Always got to bring you on. So with that being said, man, I want to get right into the documentary, man. How you feel about the documentary, man? The behind the scenes footage they got of Diddy leading up to him getting arrested, and how you feel about all that, man?
Well, what I feel about the documentary, they left a whole lot of key things out. If they was going to do something and they're going to say in the reckoning of Sean Combs, the reckoning, or Diddy, the reckoning and stuff like that, it should have been a lot of people that we lost because of him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't only Big. It wasn't only Tupac. You understand? For the atmosphere that he put those kids in.
But see, I get why they didn't necessarily go too far out of the realms of Biggie and Pac, because you don't want to go down the wormhole of the Kim Porter thing, because he wanted to be respectful of that. And he started to lightly touch on the Kim Porter situation, but then you see he viraled way, he went way off of it. They didn't even pretty much bring up, Kim Porter's passing too much. You know what I mean? They didn't even harp and emphasize on Kim Porter's passing too much. They just showed that Kim was there, if you notice in the documentary. For those that did watch, with us. They didn't harp on Kim Porter's death and him having something to do with that, as much as people have said that already. A lot of people say that Shakir Stewart, he had something to do with Shakir Stewart's passing. Of course, that was, Kim Porter was messing around with Shakir Stewart, and people say that Puff had Shakir Stewart killed. There's Heavy D, you know, Andre Harrell. There's so many other people that have like a long list of bodies that people say that he's attached to. The lady that got shot at the Shine, at not the Shine shooting, but well, yeah, the shit that happened at the club shooting, but Shine. They didn't talk about that lady at all. There's He's right. There's a lot of things that they left out, but they wanted to harp on a certain, like I said, pretty much they made it so if you are part of the prosecution with Keefe D's situation, something to think about. You know what I mean? Because that's what I said. They are holding him right now in jail, not necessarily just to do his 50-month sentence, which I still think that's funny as hell. 50 Cent does a documentary. He's been in hell for 50 months. He's being held right now, I think, for the Keefe D trial, which is happening in February. And like I said, if you paid attention to that documentary, they emphasize on him having something to do necessarily with Pac's killing, even down to the Orlando Anderson being Keefe D's nephew, Zip and the check, same information that Gene Deal had presented. Of course, I think that's another reason why they left Gene Deal out, because that question was still asked to Gene Deal, and Gene didn't necessarily want to confirm about that check that he said that he saw.
You got a guy named Anthony Wolf Jones, who was from Bad Boy from its conception as doing security and being one of the financiers of Puff having to have some money to keep Big and Craig Mack around before he got to Clyde Davis. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't able to tell that story because they didn't have no intel on that story or what went down, or they didn't do their investigations right, which he also led up to the reason why Wolf ain't here today. You understand? They didn't tell that story. They didn't tell a story about Jessica Rosenbaum, who was at the City College situation. You understand? When it was Puff, Heavy D, and Jessica. You know what I'm saying? Jessica was the reason why those kids lost their life, because she locked the door on those kids running down the steps. You understand? You could see her name in a news article, but they didn't mention nothing about her taking place, but they try to put Heavy D, God bless the dead, out there and they put Puff out there. You know what I'm saying? She should have been the main one because she is the one who locked the door on the kids. You understand? She is the one who locked the door on the kids, and all those kids lost their life. Had she not locked those doors, not one kid would have lost their life. Not one kid would have lost their life. And that's what happened. So the feelings that I have about the documentary, man, it was just old news, and they took a couple of with the footage from Puff from the days that's leading up him to get arrested, and the incidents with the people from the courts. You know, the two people from the courts. So it was nothing new. It was put together pretty good, but it was nothing new that we didn't know. It is nothing new that we didn't know, bro. And they could have did a whole lot better. They could have got into the fact if they was talking about they was going to, they was going to spend some money on it and stuff like that. They could have got into the fact of who actually made that payment, because they put it all in the documentary. Who made that payment to get Tupac eliminated, if that was the payment that they had alluded to? So, like in the documentary, it's all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you watch it once, it don't get no second look. It don't get no second take. It ain't nothing like say, yo, I gotta go see that shit again. Nah, not at all. So, let me be clear on this, brother, is that I was at City College. You understand? I was there. I was doing security. My team was supposed to have the outside. Puff came to me the day before we were supposed to do the job there and told me that Heavy D didn't want us to do the security outside. I had 18 men ready to do the security outside with my dogs, like I always do. People knew how we used to roll. We would have the pits, the Rockwilders. You understand? We had that outside locked up. So anybody try to bum rush, anybody do that, we had the gates, the whole 9 yards. So we could stop all that. You know how people gonna get down in Harlem. You understand? So, and then when you got LL Cool J, you got Mike Tyson coming through there, and they coming through the front door so people see them. So they gonna go crazy. LL was the hottest thing out at that time. Mike Tyson was the hottest thing out at that time. They got all kinds of stars and people in there already. They was coming through the back. They came through the front. And it caused the door to be bum rushed. But if they had the gates up, if they had the dogs, and with the help of the police, that shit would have never happened, bro. That shit would have never happened. I was there. I saw it. I saw Jessica run down the steps after she grabbed the money box because my man Eddie was protecting her. And Eddie's the one called me on the walkie-talkie and said, yo, Jessica just locked me in outside the gym, Gene. You couldn't go down the steps after they bum rushed the door. You understand? I had to run around the whole gym on the outside, around the gym, down the steps, run across the basketball court, and open the front door. When I opened that one door, because it pushed inside, people start squeezing through that. Then I just kept doing the doors, and people was coming in there, falling dead, right out, just falling out right there. And once they got in there, they just fell out. It was crazy, bro. It was a crazy sight. So I was there, man. So I knew more than they would put down there in that documentary. You know what I'm saying? You even see me, when Puff is standing up right there, you see me down there trying to.
But see, the thing is, if you're doing a documentary that's that detailed, you're talking about something that's going to take like 20 episodes. Which is why, like I said, if you want to do something that, intricate, they did a very good job of breaking it down within 4 episodes because, like I said, it was supposed to be leading up to his actual arrest and incarceration. Which, like I said, very good job as far as being very concise. Because you still want to keep people's attention. As he says, a lot of this information is out there already. So it's like, do you really want to harp on be so detailed to where you have, everything within the Netflix documentary and just make a whole series of almost bashing this guy? If those 4 episodes was already doing enough damage, do you really want to, get even more detailed? You know what I mean? With something like that, especially when you still want to be respectful to the families that lost people that day. That's another thing too. So they touched on that situation that he's talking about there, but they didn't, like I said, go into, like I said, making a full-on episode in detail as Gene was talking about here. That's not something you make an entire episode on.
Do CPR on somebody, and that was a 17-year-old kid that died, bro. That was a 17-year-old kid that died. I knew his brother. His brother was sitting there crying, talking about, my mama gonna kill me. This is the first time I ever took my little brother anywhere.
Terrible, man. Who do you put the blame on for that whole City College thing? Do you put it all on Diddy, or is it more people that played a part?
Well, I think Puff cutting security for the outside is a big part. Second of all, the college should have had their security there, and you didn't see none of the college security. And the college should have let the police department know that it was a function of that magnitude that was coming. So it's Diddy and the college and the security and the school.
To get into this documentary, man, because I want to get your point of view, man, and I want you to break it down. It's one part in here where Eric Sermon, he told a story about how he was in the car with Misa, and Diddy caught him in the car, and Diddy swung on him. You seen that part?
Well, Eric Sermon said that Puff swung on him and invited him, and he invited Puff to go around the corner. But a lot of people, Kirk Burrows told the story, and I told him, like, because we knew that had happened back in the day, that Puff was putting his hands on Misa. You know what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa, brother. You understand what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa. You know, after I stopped working for Puff and everything like that, I started working. Misa wanted to still be out. Misa still wanted to go to places. Misa still wanted to be out and about. So she said, Gene, would you look out for me? I said, Misa, you can't afford me. She said, Gene, it's only gonna be for a couple of hours when I go out and stuff like that. I know he's not gonna do nothing if he see me with you. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, all right, cool. All right, Misa. All right, so if I come out for a couple of hours and stuff like that, every time I come out, Misa, it'll be $200, $250 for a couple of hours just for you, Misa. So it was known that Puff had a hand problem, especially when it came to women that he dated. And it was surprisingly that he swung, and like Eric Sammons said, on him. You understand? And then went to listen to some music. That shit was crazy to me. So my whole thing about it is that the Eric Sermon shit, and then he went to listen to Juicy after Nick swung on him. That's some industry shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy industry shit. The whole thing about when he's talking about the Misa part being in his car and everything like that, and that was the part whereas that Puff was putting his hands on Misa, and he should have whooped his ass right then and there, you know, no matter if Misa was just in his car chilling or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She chilling with me. I'm responsible for that. I'm gonna be responsible for her. Do it some other time. I don't care if it's your girl or not. If she in my car right now, you understand, and she chilling with me, and she a friend, you ain't gonna put your hands on her.
Now that part I do agree on. I definitely do agree with G on that. Eric Sermon definitely could have said something, especially knowing the time. I don't think Eric Sermon was blind to the fact that Diddy was definitely putting his hands on Misa. I don't think he was blind to that, especially when you're emphasizing that this was just your friend. That was another thing, too. Eric Sermon didn't even say that that was his girl. You hear Eric Sermon pretty much didn't even want to confirm that that was his girlfriend. He kept saying that that was just her friend. That was just his friend. Didn't want to at all say anything he had like actual relations with her or anything like that. As if he just wanted to be very, very respectful and, you know, just keep himself out of that whole thing. If I'll also show here, Misa is also saying that she's being harassed, her and Justin now, her son Justin. But yeah, he could have easily stepped in and did something. Even if you don't have to, you know, come to fisticuffs and whatnot, if you're scared of Diddy, whatever. Not saying he is. Could have easily just, you know, say, hey, are you doing this or are you not doing that? Like, are you putting your hands on Misa or are you not putting your hands on Misa? Like, if you know that's going on, you gotta definitely step in and do something. You can't just be letting it go on all the time. You can't. That's just not. Like I said, the man in you should be able to step up and say, "Yo, you should. We can't be doing this. We not gonna be doing this." Like I said, I understand. Like you might have been scared of Diddy's power at the time, if he had any. I still think the integrity in you would step up for your girl or your friend and put a halt on that bullshit. Don't approve of no man hitting a woman. So if you see or know that that's going on and it's happening to your friend, you should be stepping up for that friend.
And beat her like Puff was doing her? Nah, not at all. And I think that, you know, he should have took responsibility for that more so than he took responsibility of hearing a Biggie tape or Biggie music. You understand?
And speaking of Misa, how you heard about the comment she made about you today?
Bruh, I saw that today. Somebody sent me that shit today, man. And my whole thing about it is, Misa, how am I harassing you? I've never harassed you. I've always been a protector of you so far until now. You understand? For you to go and try to snake that whole situation and saying, I'm the reason why you being harassed. No, your ex is the reason why you being harassed. You understand? Your ex is the reason why your son is the way he is. You understand? You know what I'm saying? This is what happened, and I'm gonna let you know. Another YouTuber, one or two, came out and said that Justin is Wolf's father. I mean, Wolf is Justin's father. Another YouTuber came out and said that Wolf is Justin's father. Wolf is a former bodyguard of Bad Boy that was murdered by an associate with BMF. So now, I never said nothing, yay, nay, or whatever. Me and Puff is beefing. You understand? I'm not gonna come out and play Super Saver or anything. You understand? I ain't got nothing to do with it. I might allude to, maybe he is, maybe he ain't. He shoot motherfuckers in the studio. Wolf was that type of dude.
Now, I was just going to say, notice how he will not confirm that Wolf is not the father. Notice he will never confirm whether or not Wolf is the father or not. Because that's a whole nother can of worms. Again, Gene wants to be respectful of. So I understand. Can't confirm that part. But we know. You know, we know.
So I didn't say nothing. But I know the difference. I know that he wasn't because they had a blood test. They had they did that paternity test and shit like that to prove that Justin was his son. Puff was mad the whole 9 yards because he had to pay Misa a large amount of child support, which he was starving her at first. He wasn't doing nothing for his son. That's why Suge Knight took that picture of Misa and Justin when he was hugging Misa, saying what the East Coast won't take care of, the West Coast will. You understand? I told everybody about that whole picture, and then everybody said I was lying and shit, and then somebody released Suge in the same clothes that he took that picture in, playing with Justin on the floor. You understand? So now, Misa is mad at me and upset with me because I didn't clarify that. You understand? It wasn't for me to clarify, Misa. I ain't harassed you not one time. I ain't harassed you when you owe me $750. I let it go. You've been having the money allegedly to pay me. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with MCM. You could have sent me a bag. You could have did anything to make it good. But you just said, F it. Now you being harassed by Gene Deal. Gene Deal ain't never harassed you, Misa. I used to save you because you was so afraid that when you was out here giving it up on both sides of the panties trying to feed your kids, that Puff was going to find out. You know what I'm saying? About them down south niggas. About them NOLA niggas. Should I go on? Being harassed? Come on, Misa. You could do better than that. You could do better than that, Misha. You know I ain't harass you. I ain't tell none of your secrets. I ain't say nothing about you. But you want to put it out there and play a victim. It's Puff fault all this shit is happening with Justin. It's Puff fault all this shit is happening with you. You remember Misa? When he was mad over them NOLA niggas? Y'all know who them NOLA niggas is, them New Orleans niggas. I'm gonna leave it at that. Cause I ain't gonna put that man business out like that. Oh, baby.
I didn't realize I was muted. Thank you so much, Who the Man, for that $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Long time you have been coming to the pod. I hope Stella Blue does will show up in here. Also, if you guys want to, salute to the real. I greatly appreciate that. Much love. If you guys also want to donate to the pod, the Cash App is right there on the left hand side of the screen. Chill Murray 1. Anything at all is appreciated. It goes towards me getting back and forth to work. If you guys could help out at all, like I said, the Cash App is right there on the left hand side of the screen. If you guys could help with that as well. But yeah, thank you so much for that super chat as well. Swayze World, what's going on? What's going on with you? What's going on? Gene is hot. See, I didn't realize that he pretty much, was going to take this much of offense to her saying that, she's being harassed. I know Gene isn't doing the harassment. It's pretty much social media is doing the harassment of Misa and Justin. But let's face it. As he said, Justin's ways come from Diddy. Misa has to, come to grips with that. You be in the bushes, that's what I'm talking about. Homer Simpson in the bushes. I'm the same way with it, brother. I'm the same way with it. Homer Simpson in the bushes with it. But, Gene's pretty much the same way as well. He's been that way as far as, like he said, with her secrets and things like that. He probably has knowledge of things that Justin has probably pretty much done over the years that he just won't tell. Besides the things that Misa's done, he's pretty much got knowledge of what the kids have done as well. Hell, I'm still trying to figure out what happened to Christian Combs' case. I still want to know what happened to Christian Combs' case. With his little rape case that was on the yacht. I want to know what happened to that. I definitely want to know what happened to that case there. But yeah, I can understand him being a little bit, upset behind that. So, all right. So, I'm trying to think now. Should I go right into that, or should I? Let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Okay, so did I get into Daz Dillinger? Did I get into Daz beef with Snoop? Did I get into that at all? I don't think I did, right? Let me put these over here. So, if you guys don't know, Daz and Snoop have been beefing over publishing and royalties with Death Row.
Have a copy of it. Which
Let me run this. Hold that thought real quick. Daz, Snoop beef. Oh, so it seems to be a couple of videos that Daz has done. I thought it was just one video, but it seems to be a couple of videos. It seems to be a couple of videos about that.
I see you ain't got shit to do but hate on me, huh? In a minute, I'ma you up, cuz, on some real shit. Not physically, but business-wise. Cuz you broke as a right now, so I'ma you up in a minute, cuz. Leave me alone. Leave me the alone. You up, cuz, on some real shit. Not physically, but business-wise. Cuz you broke as a right now, so I'ma you up in a minute, cuz. Leave me alone. Leave me the alone. Leave me alone, cuz. You up. Leave me alone.
you can call me anything, but don't call me bro. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Daz, kicking up the dust, nigga. You already know. You know what these things do. Yeah. Your little cousin Daz, you know what it is. EPGC, you know what it is. You know who put it together. You know who run things. You know who put it together, nigga. But you know, we chilling right here at the Black House. DPG just put the sign up right here. Big ass D-A-Z. And the posters at the bottom gonna have all over the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, you can call me anything, but don't call me bro. Don't call me bro. I had a visit with my cousin last night. My cousin Joe Cool came into my epiphany dream and told me, park that. You know what it is, cuz. It's that ass. We gonna be back. Bang that shit. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell, Dr. Dre, hell yeah. She's from Death Row, an attorney over there, trademarked the Dog Pound, DPG. So I hear Snoop and say, what's up with your lawyer? I ain't cuss him out, I ain't go hard or nothing. I just say, I just found out that y'all tried to trademark the Dog Pound, and that's how I know. Me, yeah, I did it. And, you know, being tough and shit, like that's what he wanted.
And these are cousins, by the way. This is supposed to be family.
You know what I'm saying? All hell break loose. He do a show, you don't take me, take everybody else. Like, yeah, I ain't with Dad and all the shit. For what? Because I asked you about my trademark that you tried to go behind my back and steal my shit. But the reason why I never trademarked it the Dog Pound, because the Cleveland Browns own the name the Dog Pound, but they spell it D-A-W-G. You know what I mean? And they have it trademarked for their football. So that was the confusion over all the 30 years of doing business with the first Death Row, shouldn't like, but doing business with them, Reggie Wright, doing the business with them. They try to steal the shit too, but it could never happen because the Cleveland Brown owned the name the Dog Pound. Not the way that we spelled it, but it's confusion is what they said on there. So when I hear Snoop and said, why did y'all try to trademark the Dog Pound?
And, you know, and everything else, they don't want to do business with me because they thought they had it. They thought they had it. But then I trademarked the paw. Because I drew the paw in 1991. Daz Dillinger. I drew that paw 1991 and I've had it ever since. So I trademarked the paw. That was the moneymaker. Anytime you see the paw, it's like an apple sign. When you see that paw, it's just like the apple sign. That's what I trademarked. They didn't trademark that. They thought they was going for the name. So I hit them back. You know, I got them all on group texts. You know, I tweet them all day on there and tell.
Like I said, it just sounds like it's a lot of bullshit with business and family business at that. So I'm hoping that it
What's
gets
up, y'all?
resolved.
Wake and Bake. Hey, this is the origin of the story. E1 was Koch. Remember this. Do your search. Koch turned into E1. Bad business. They had to change the name. E1 turns into Monarch. Bad business. So over those years, Suge Knight had a deal with Alan Grunblatt, which ran E1, which ran Koch, which ran Monarch, to take everyone's music. So 15 years go by, another 15 years go by, it's 30 years. Time is up on that. I'm already on Monarch, Koch, all the names they got, I'm on their ass. These the white boys. So you know what they do? A football pass it to Snoop, thinking he can manipulate and get everybody because Daz is on our ass. They held back my publishing, saying that I signed my publishing over. Come to find out, they didn't. They released that money to me. Snoop know about it. He was involved in that situation. He know about that. He showed me all the paperwork that goes down in the place. So I'm looking at all this shit, you know what I mean, taking pictures in my eyes, but I also have a copy of it myself. See, I have to see what they have and what I have to see what I don't have to see what I need to have. You know what I mean? So it's a up situation, man, you know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of people that were stealing, and you know what I mean? Dr. Dre got his shit, but there's no paperwork on the Chronic album. On the Chronic album. There's no paperwork on the Chronic album. You know what I mean? So he just sold it. I was figuring out myself, how in the Dr. Dre got 200 million? And he only got 2 albums. You know, the mother ones don't count, but he only got 2 albums, the Chronic and the Chronic 2001. So he sold this one. As you can see, our name and everything is off the albums and shit like that. And, man, that's a situation. But like I said before, all y'all talking shit out there, I see you. I ain't scared of you. I'm going to keep calling you what I'm calling you.
I get what Daz is talking about. So pretty much through Snoop owning Death Row, he's erasing the history publishing-wise of all the people that were the Daz, the Corrupts. He's erasing their names from history pretty much to collect more revenue on the publishing. I get why Daz is pretty much saying that this is a crooked thing, especially, like I said, this is your family. So this is another clip here of DJ Quick.
Not so happy. I'm real offended by this death row check and this amount. As much work as I did for these sons of bitches, I just feel like the respect factor is just crazy. There is none. So, to show you what your money means to me, Mr. Death Row Records, all the Tupac shit I did, help with the Dog Pound project.
$150 or $800?
Devil, you are a bitch. I want my real money and I want all my credits for everything that I did in this industry. All the songs, including Hot in Here, Finelli and Pharrell. I want my credit for that being Get Naked. I want my credit from Kendrick Lamar for, and there's no disrespect to Kendrick. I love you guys, TDE. You guys are awesome. But the fact that y'all left my credit off of King Kunta was crazy. R. Kelly, Home Alone. That's 100% all of my drum sounds, my music, and me playing percussion on it. I want that too. All Eyes on Me is my credit. I want that. In the Club, I helped with that record. If I Can't Do It, It Can't Be Done, 50 Cent, I want that record. I want all my credits. I'm starting to get to a point to where I'm impatient and I feel disrespected. I'm not going to be the underdog of this music industry anymore.
That look like that's $400. Death Row sent him a check for $400. Bruh. I'd be mad too. This is all you get is $400? Oh yeah, I would have been putting that on the grill too.
Or I am to be respected as a king and a lord that I am, a god when it comes to production. I need all of my fucking credit. You're not burning fast enough for me, little check. You're not burning fast enough for me, little Death Row check. Death Row Records. I took death chances being over there. I could have been killed at that record company. I need all of my fucking credit. Give me my shit while I'm alive. Give me my roses where I can smell them. Real talk. Burn, you bitch, you. Look at it, it won't burn. It's just so disrespectful. Give DJ Quick all his credit. I'm gonna speak to myself in the third party. I need all my fucking credit. 109742, fuck you. Give me my credit. Everything that I've done being the underdog. I'm tired of being the underdog. Enough is a fucking enough. Enough is a fucking enough. I mean that. There you go. Burn, bitch. Burn. Yep. Death Row Records. Enough's enough. I want all my credit for everything I did in this industry.
And I noticed.
Yeah, the summit.
Made a little observation when Suge walked in. You walked out, but it was very visual.
It was tight, huh?
Yeah, it was actually very dope. It was like, dun, 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 bye. And, you know, you just kind of walked out. But you did it in a way where there was no point where people couldn't have seen you cross, you know, not even give eye contact or anything. So, of course, being the inquiring person I am, what's the deal?
Hi, Ronnie, what's going on?
Dish, huh?
What's the deal with that, man?
Just gotta know, huh?
What's the deal, player? I gotta know.
I got what I needed there. I got a chance to listen to the brother Minister Farrakhan do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's my first time ever seeing him in person.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, it was tight. Dude is anointed, man. He glow.
Mm-hmm.
I call it flicker. He got this little natural flicker on him.
Yeah.
I wrote him a little. I just wrote him like I jotted down what I was feeling that day. You know, before and during his speech, and gave it to him. Had him give it to him. But when Suge came in, it was like it's time to go, man. I don't want to listen to what Suge got to say. Suge is a regressive person. Suge.
So we don't need to play that part. Really. This is him on Sway in the Morning, of course, but this is just DJ Quick's pretty much, as you saw, his gripe with the same thing that Snoop, pretty much, Daz, same problem Daz has with Snoop in the way he's handling business with Death Row.
One turns into.
Okay, so this clip right here is pretty much to emphasize on what Daz was talking about. This is him. This is Snoop on Drink Champs.
Yo, I need to tell you, I don't want that big bad boy Death Row collaboration to happen. This is Rivera. This is Little Kim, Biggie, and I said, why would you not want that? And he said, because people got killed and whatever. So I said, yo, listen, this
people
is what
got stabbed too.
Yeah.
And didn't do nothing.
So this is what I said.
Wait, you talking about this being now? Talking about the NFT?
Yesterday.
Try to check in.
This is yesterday.
Handle your own business.
So he said to me, I don't like the
You don't like me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he said. He said, no, this is last time I remember. So he said, I don't like the bad boy Death Row collaboration
because it ain't what it was, cuz it's some new shit.
This is new shit. This is what I'm trying to tell him.
Like, let me talk to you right now, if you listen, if you watching. We progressing, we moving our minds. I'm a 50-year-old man now. I'm not a 20-something-year-old young kid, and I lead by example. And a lot of kids follow me. So if we can show growth and progression, that we can move forward, and we can take this bad boy Death Row, what it used to be, and make it a collaboration on peace and love. Just so you know, Puffy's sons and my sons have been best friends since they were 6-7 years old. And let me give you the real story on that one, brother. I didn't make it happen, and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood that me and Puff always had. So if we got the opportunity to take these two brands and show people what it can be as opposed to what it used to be, that's what the fuck we gonna do.
Damn, that was hard.
But what's crazy is on your new album, you did that skit.
Back on Death Row.
No, the dancing, all dancing in your videos, like that's where like you really went on record, like this is what it is now.
Cause that's who I am.
Right.
I'm Suge and Puffy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm all in the videos, rapping, dancing, NFT. You know what I'm saying?
That's not necessarily a great comparison to have that you're Suge and Puffy.
That shit is crazy.
Cause that's what it is. I don't have no problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I love it. This is who I am, and I get a chance to give other motherfuckers a chance to shine. Cause I'm so bright. When I put the light on somebody else, then they get a chance to show their talent and run wild.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Puff Daddy called me on three-way. he said, listen, you gotta go see Snoop. And I said, of course I go see Snoop. But then he three-wayed me, with you in. And then he said, we got an NFT, Puff, Bad Boy, Death Row. And I posted that. I posted a picture of me, you, and Diddy. And I said, Bad Boy, Death Row NFT. Or I said something like that. And I can't lie to you, Snoop. So many people was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Bad Boy?
Well, you know your
Death
show
Row?
is controversial, so you gotta understand there's gonna be a lot of drunk motherfuckers talking a bunch of bullshit.
So again, he's just breaking down, like I said, the different things, different plans of business he was going to implement within him taking over Death Row. If you guys don't know, Snoop took over the rights to Death Row. So that's why he's able to even try to do something like a Death Row Bad Boy type of thing, which, of course, is going to spiral over. Not necessarily even going to happen, in my opinion. I was gonna talk about the Easy to Block Captain thing that happened. So the Easy to Block Captain and Cassidy battle got canceled. They pretty much was about to get into a scuffle. I had seen that earlier. They got into a little tit for tat. Little tit for tat. Little tit for tat. Alright. So I don't got a deal. So I don't got to deal with no ads. Cause I'm tired of dealing with ads for the evening. I know y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for tuning in this evening. I know it's getting late too for some of y'all. But it's Saturday night. So I figure why not? Why not get everybody together, you know? Why not get everybody together? All right. So, again, Easy to Block Captain and Cassidy battle got canceled because of their little tit for tat that they had earlier this evening.
Actually got nothing bad to say about you, Cash. Besides, you's a pussy. Yeah, this the round where I make these niggas look themselves in the mirror. Start undisclosing all the. Actually got nothing bad to say about you, Cash. Besides, you's a pussy. Yeah, this the round where I make these niggas look themselves in the mirror. Start undisclosing all these lies that's in the sky so we can make the situation clearer. Yo, y'all don't fix my mic and take it off. Fix his mic, you real shit though. Yo. So we, yo. Here we go. This the round where I make these niggas look themselves in the mirror. Start undisclosing all these lies that's in disguise so we can make this situation clearer. Because a nigga that was in PC calling me a pussy is a trick. A nigga that wanted to be a Christian rapper after you separated your case because you was in terror, you can't compare us. See, I got lawyers for what I do for the problem. They'll solve it just in case I ever blow trial and error. Nigga, you can never have... So shut the fuck up, nigga. You can never have me in the hot seat, nigga. I'm trying to do better way. Nigga. I'm trying to do better way. You gonna back me up. It's red. I'm good. It's red. Here we go. You can never have...
That shit in here. That's you. I'm sorry, baby. That shit in here. Fuck about no security. Stop making them. They made yours.
Somebody got that thing on him. You hear that nigga say, yeah, that's in here. That's in here, nigga. Give a fuck about no security. Niggas got that thing on him.
What are you talking about, nigga? Y'all gonna get this ball down, bro. What are you talking about, bro? Rap your fucking rap, bro. Stop doing the tough shit, bro. What's fucking wrong with niggas? Seriously, bro. Rap your raps. I hate when niggas do this tough shit. I ain't even doing that, bro. That's it. He stabbed the first round. He said, "Don't jump." He just want to rap. That's it. He just want to rap.
So as you saw, pretty much, Easy set it off with the "you pussy" like he about to spit in Cassidy's face, right? That was one thing. That was the first thing he did. That was wrong. Second thing was telling him to shut the fuck up, all in his face, because Cassidy is quote unquote mumbling in front of him. Cassidy wasn't saying a word. If you looked, Cassidy wasn't saying a word. Easy was pretty much getting nervous, as Easy has been known to do in the past. Easy will sometimes fuck up his bars. I think this is a case where he was fucking up his bars, and to save face, he was telling Cassidy to shut up. Which then escalated to this scenario happening, and their peoples getting into it in between each other, and they had to separate. Which is why the battle got canceled, which I think, in my opinion, from this footage, Easy threw the fight.
We just want to see one of them. What's up? We just want to. Hey, Luke, you know I'm here with you. I'm here. Back up. Everybody on the side, back up. Back up. back here. I'm sorry. I need more space. I'm sorry.
Okay, so apparently there's more footage. Or should I say there was some footage cut out if you noticed. Wait, I need that twice. Didn't mean to get that twice.
You can never have me in a hot seat. So we can talk about your timepiece. Last time you lived in Philly, nigga, the mayor was John Street. You are a corny nigga with talent that they let slide for years because your mind weak. When shit was at stake and it came to Philly artists, guess what you did in your prime? Beat, nigga, I rewrote, stop touching me. Stop touching me. I rewrote this second around and then I'm gonna beat you up.
See, I told you. Easy was literally spitting in Cassidy's face the whole time. He was trying to intimidate Cassidy. And of course, this is battle rap. That's why he said, yo, just rap your raps. Don't be on no tough guy shit. Right back.
You can never have me in a hot seat. So we can talk about your timepiece. Last time you lived in Philly, nigga, the mayor was John Street. You are a corny nigga with talent that they let slide for years because your mind weak. When shit was at stake and it came to Philly artists, guess what you did in your prime? Beat, nigga, I rewrote, stop touching.
See, he's trying to back him up because he started spitting in his face again. That's what I pointed out when he did the whole pussy thing. He called him a pussy. He tried to spit in his face. That's why Cassidy's getting offended now. Like, yo, nigga, back up. If you on rap, nigga, rap your shit. You don't got to be all in my grill like this. Like,
stop.
And he's like, yo, back the fuck up.
I rewrote this second around and I'm gonna beat you up.
And see, he talking all that shit. I'm gonna beat you, beat the shit out of you and all this other shit. That's when niggas jumped in.
Knew this was gonna happen. Chill.
Let's sit in here. Hey, Reed. They ain't start making when they made yours, brother. What you talking about, nigga? Don't go get this ball down, bro. All right, bro.
He said that should have get that boy killed in here.
Just rap. It was stairs too.
So we also have footage of Cassidy when he left the battle. So saying he was still ready to go, of course, and pretty much talking about why the battle had gotten canceled.
You wouldn't get fucking drunk as shit because you would think this shit ain't nothing.
That's the only second. That's the only second. Come on.
Everybody got it. That's it.
Yo, would you rematch the ball or nah? That shit over.
Yeah, I'm ready right now. We can do it like Disaster right here.
Let's
get it. Let's do it like how we did Disaster right here, man.
Control your mouth.
I'm ready, man. It's smooth. It's bad smooth. Rounds is about to go up too, man. I just wanted to talk to him a little bit the first round because he was rhyming one syllable so light. But it was about to go up. That's what I wanted to.
Yeah, your second turn was gonna be
finish, man.
You said the round's about to go up?
Yeah, for sure. That was just like the lightest round, just talking to him about his mom. I mean, to him personally, it wasn't the lightest. It's gonna hit him the hardest. But you know, to the crowds that wanted my head punches or me going crazy, I was about to do that. It just, I wanted to talk to him and break him down. And you see, he broke down. That's why the battle was over, because he was discombobulated.
Okay, so Cassidy lets out some information on the battle. So what we saw was round one, and Cassidy went first. Cassidy, obviously, as he said something about his mom's, which got him a little bit angry. Thus, why we saw the round where the part where Easy's going, and Easy's getting all in Cassidy's face. So pretty much Cassidy got into his head during the battle, which resulted in what we saw in the battle getting canceled.
Nerves took over. Do you think he did all that because, like you said, he was nervous, scared, about to like forget his lines, forget like?
I think it was
he was trying to prove himself.
And everything, you know, he was already dead from the promo,
Yeah.
so he thought that maybe if I come out and I do this round like this, they might switch up. But he seen at the end of the round they wasn't really cheering like how they normally do. While he was rapping, they wasn't going crazy like how they normally do. People just looking at him like, so he never felt that before. So after he finished rapping, you know, his peoples was trying to hype it up a little bit, but the actual crowd wasn't really fucking with it. So, you know what I mean? And when I started rapping and they was fucking with me, he was trying to like make them not, but they was still fucking with me, and he ain't like that. So, you know what I mean? And he knew he couldn't debunk all of the shit that I was saying in that round. It was the truth. So that, I even asked him, like, yo, what you about to talk about? You about to talk about your mom or your brother, Keem? Like, what's up with Ball? And he know he ain't ready
Didn't
to
you
talk
give him
about
like
that.
$10,000 to help him with his family situation, all that?
For sure.
Like you gave him like 10 racks for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it
Help
was
him
for
out.
something. It was for the tournament, but the tournament just ain't paying out. So, you know, sometimes business don't go according to plan, and they keep the money, you know what I'm saying? Just, it ain't playing
So
out.
y'all had proper business beforehand, so he already understand how to do business with you. But this time, he felt personal.
I mean, yeah, he was like, you see him on videos, he was like a little fly on the wall. He was like a soft character. Like, you know, other people was arguing, King Walker, me, Murder Mook, you know, the personalities was in there, you know, going through shit, but he wasn't really involved too much, you know what I'm saying, back then. But you know, ever since he got with Rem and got a little bit of media attention and shit like that, he be in a different bag, you know. He even said it himself when I brought up why you got the 3 parts in your beard. He said I was a different dude then. And that was like a couple years ago. Like, I don't know niggas that's different. Like, all my niggas, they stay the same forever. Like, we how we the fuck is, bro. Like, you can't say 5 years ago I was different. How?
So there's a picture going around of Easy to Block Captain. Cassidy. IG. What's Cassie's Instagram? This is pretty damn funny. This was pretty damn funny.
In Pottsville. And the police received a letter saying, I, Easy the Pigeon, is guilty in conspiring with surf enemies and police since 2019 to get that 5K once.
Tay-Rock was down with it until weeks later he said he wasn't down with it. So I took it out on Tay-Rock. Lady Caution called me saying you left her stranded. As I quote, I paid for the room, we popped some pills and do what it do. She said, what about Remy? Easy said, fuck her, she another hurricane due. To Easy the Block.
Hold on. Not this was looking for. This right here. So this is the picture he was talking about. And I'm like, this is like 2000s. I'm in my R&B, but I'm not in my R&B bag. Like, what was going on with this? This was the parts and the sideburns. Like, what the fuck was going on with this right here? What is going on with his body tilted, leaning like this with the shh? Like, what is happening here? Like I said, he said that was just a couple years ago. Like, bruh, what is happening here? What is happening here? So this is what Cassidy was is pretty much talking about. But yeah, very flamboyant, Easy to Block Captain, and it wasn't looking too good for the ball. It wasn't looking too good for the ball.
Oh, I'm grown. I'm a grown ass man. 5 years ago, I was different. Wow,
5 years ago,
I was already grown already. It's like I'm already who the fuck I am. Like, my nigga YMF, man. You back on duty, man? Took a little vacation, man.
Oh man, shoot. Like, I'm always working, man. You know I'm all about the confrontation. I'm all about the confrontation. That's real battle rap, real hip hop.
You want it? Oh, you're doing that?
Yo, it just like this, bro.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm just catching the vibes. Just catching the vibes. Shoot. But like you said, you trying to get back. You ready to still stand on business, ready to get this, ready to finish this out.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is it going to take? What is it going to take for that though? Like on his end?
It's not even about just, you know what I mean, me or Easy. It's about the culture, like the people that wanted to see 3 rounds.
Right.
People that wanted to see a full event. People that bought the pay-per-view, paid for tickets. They wanted to see a full battle.
Right.
So it's not really good to give them a 1-rounder that wasn't even right because it was like shakiness in the building. So I wish we could do it the right way. Like I said, he could pull up right here. We could do it disaster style. They could rebook that venue. We could go right back, pull back up. I'm ready to go. I want people to hear these verses. Man.
Yeah, I'll show everybody. I want to see that shit. I want to see it. Y'all want to see it? Yeah, but that's on his end, and the promoters and shit like that. They gotta tap your line, like reconnect, get niggas back.
Oh yeah, we got a good relationship with the TBL. I'm sure. I mean, they got a lot going on. So after they clear that out, we gonna talk and figure it out. That's why I don't really want to speak on it. I don't know what they got planned. I ain't even know Easy was gonna get pushed out of there like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going with the flow. So I mean, yeah, I'm just ready to rap.
Mm-hmm.
Man, took wild time off. Just getting back. You know what I mean? Had my niggas there, Walker there, Reed there. Niggas that my childhood friends, man. Niggas that I knew over 20 years were standing there, man. So I was excited, man.
Gilly and Wallow was even there, and then Gilly was on Cassidy's side.
Energy was in the building. I just wanted to.
Ness was in the building.
Just rap, but he was so nervous and just trying to do all of these weird moves, man. And you know he got them fucked up teeth and them braces, and he's spitting a lot. And I'm not, you know, we could battle and all that. A nigga could say whatever. You know, I got thick skin, man. I don't let nothing get to me, bro. You could say whatever. That shit don't affect me. But you're not gonna be physically disrespecting me. And that's like, spitting on a nigga is actually physical. It's something touching me. It's like, yo, the same thing like when Disaster tried to, Arsenal. He tried to like do some shit like where he grabbed my arms or something on the stage. And niggas trying to make it a big thing like he pushed me or carried me. But after that, it was about to be an issue. And he started apologizing. That's why we was able to continue rapping. I ain't go nowhere. I want to still rap, but we got to figure this out. Like, you ain't going to just keep violating and think we going to stand here, especially with all these niggas out board in here. It probably was a prep talk I got from on the stage. Niggas told me, man, look, bro, like, we ain't playing with boy out here. Like, so when I got on the stage, I'm like, man, look, man, I ain't come here to play with this nigga, man.
Yeah, they had to cut it. Yeah, as you can see, dude came with the things like you doing an interview. They had to do a little something on the camera. That's where the light went off real quick. They had to handle some business. But yeah, shout out to Cassidy. So Cassidy Easy to Block Captain battle has been canceled. Hopefully they'll get it back soon. Hopefully they'll get it back and figure it out. You know, I hope so anyway. So, I don't know. My sponsor banner is finally showing. Trying to get there it is. All right. So it wasn't showing before. Get it back over. Yeah. Laugh in the spot. It wasn't showing before. I was like, where's my banner at? All right. All right, so Should I go into cheaters or should I do? We shall do this. I'll go into. We'll do cheaters tomorrow. I want to do this.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by Cake Wallet. Helen Luttrell grabbed the girl's arm to stop her from falling. Her skin felt wrong. It was cold and spongy like raw mushrooms. Then the sunglasses slid down the girl's face, and for the first time, Helen saw her eyes. They were large, too large, and they were dark green with vertical pupils like a cat. Helen couldn't look away when the girl's thoughts flooded directly into her mind. She was terrified. Her daughter's roommate wasn't human, and the Air Force colonel who arranged for the two to live together knew exactly what he was doing. He needed a roommate who would never see what Rachel really looked like. He found Helen's daughter, Marissa, a girl who was legally blind. But the colonel had a problem. Marissa's vision was coming back.
Yeah, human, we have.
Okay, so this particular episode of the Y-Files is about human-alien hybrid program, okay? The human-alien hybrid program, pretty much about the studies that a little bit of things we've been going over before about, the reptilians that walk among us. So pretty much they've been talking about, they'll be talking about the facility where they pretty much have been integrating the reptilians, as well as, having the human hybrid program come to life, as well as I'll just let him explain it. I'll let him explain it.
A catastrophic situation.
I'm trying to relax and watch my stories.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt your precious stories. It's not like this is an emergency or anything.
What did you do?
Nothing. Well, something. A while ago. But now the consequences are here, and they're huge.
What consequences?
Remember when I liquidated everything because the banks are run by lizard people?
You held a press conference in the kitchen.
Now all my money's gone.
Gone how?
I turned everything into crypto, the one thing lizards don't control, and now I have no idea where any of it is. It's just floating around out there in the digital void.
That's not how that works.
Human, unsecured crypto is like catnip to reptilians, lizard nip. It runs through fiber optic cables and warms their cold-blooded guts. If I don't lock it down, the lizards will slurp it up.
You liquidated everything because you don't trust the banks.
Yeah, correct. They blink sideways.
And you converted it to crypto without knowing what to do with it. Sounds like you need Cake Wallet.
Oh, Cake Wallet, huh? That wouldn't happen to be today's sponsor, would it?
It sure would. Cake Wallet is your own private wallet for modern digital cash. No banks, no delays, no middlemen. It's free, open source, and completely under your control. And getting started is easier than signing up for a streaming service. Even if you've never owned crypto before, you can buy your first in the app with a card, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. Once you're in, only you can access your funds. It's like having a digital safe on your phone that only you can open. When you're ready to spend, Cake Pay lets you use crypto at thousands of stores, from groceries to gadgets, online or in person. That's financial freedom made simple. Buy, store, and send Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, and more, all with strong privacy.
So my video player, for some strange reason lately, I have not been able to have control of it. So I don't know why I'm not able to skip ads, like if I was just watching regular YouTube. For some reason, my player doesn't allow me to just move forward on things while I'm streaming. If I wasn't streaming, of course, I'd be able to move it. But because I'm streaming, I can't move the player. So, apologies.
Safe and Cake Wallet, human. Finally something in my life that isn't being tracked, traced, or monetized.
You're still using Facebook, though.
That's how I track lizard people activity. They overshare like boomers.
Helen's daughter, Marissa Luttrell, lost her vision at 13, a complication from childhood diabetes. That would make going to college challenging. In the fall of 1972, Marissa got a small apartment near American River Junior College in Sacramento, where she studied occupational therapy. The place was clean and quiet. The only problem was the rent. Her disability check barely covered groceries. She needed a roommate, and she needed help getting to class. Her college counselor, Lila Ross, handled both problems. Marissa came to her office looking for a tutor. That same morning, a student named Bobby had signed up for a part-time tutoring job. When Lila compared their schedules, she found that they had the same classes. So Bobby got a job, and Marissa got a guide who can walk her to class and read her the lecture notes. So that's one problem solved. Next, the roommate. Lila was in her office about to begin a search when there was a knock on her door. A tall man in casual clothes stood in the doorway. Next to him, a thin girl wearing wraparound sunglasses and an oversized hat. The girl looked thin and frail, almost sickly. The man introduced himself as Colonel Harry Nadian. His daughter Rachel had just registered for classes. They needed help finding a roommate. Rachel nodded at Lila and said, "It is a pleasure to meet you. I am called Rachel." This concerned Lila, but the colonel seemed normal enough, and maybe Rachel was just odd. Either way, both girls were quiet and polite, and Rachel's appearance wouldn't matter to a blind roommate. Harry wrote a check on the spot, half the rent and all utilities in advance. Lila couldn't believe her luck. Bobby appeared the same day Marissa needed a tutor, and Harry arrived just as she was about to start looking for a roommate. But none of this was coincidence. This was all carefully orchestrated. Now the experiment was ready to begin. Living with Rachel took some adjustment. Rachel was nice enough, but her speech was strange. She said she'd grown up in another country, but she didn't say which one. Rachel knew nothing about normal life. She'd never heard of Simon and Garfunkel. She didn't know what sports were. She referred to people as males and females. She sounded clinical and detached. She said she'd only met 4 people before Marissa, a reading instructor and 2 nurses on the base where Harry worked. No friends, no family besides Harry. It was like she had no past before 1969. But Marissa also had a secret of her own. Her vision was coming back. Now, it fluctuated. Some days were better than others, but she was definitely improving. Before, everything was dark, but now she could make out shapes and blurry outlines. She could see light and shadows, but she didn't tell anyone. Not Bobby, not her mother, not her counselor Lila. If people found out she could see, they would ask questions. The disability payments might stop. Harry might move Rachel somewhere else, and Marissa needed this arrangement. The rent was covered, the apartment was quiet, and she finally had independence. So she kept playing blind and kept asking for help she didn't always need. But she watched Rachel whenever she could. For the first few days, Rachel spent most of her time in her room, but eventually she would sit in the living room and talk. Marissa had already seen enough to know Rachel had long reddish blonde hair, but it was a color that she didn't have a name for. Rachel wore a big hat and sunglasses all the time. But when Rachel thought Marissa couldn't see, she'd sometimes take the hat and glasses off. Rachel had high cheekbones, thin slanted features. She was pretty. Then there was the food. Rachel's food was strange. She was on a special diet, so her food was delivered in small cardboard boxes every few weeks. But there was never a delivery truck, never a knock on the door. The small boxes just appeared. One morning, Rachel left early for class, leaving Marissa alone in the apartment. So she grabbed her magnifying glass and one of the food boxes in the refrigerator. It was white cardboard. The only marking was a small red triangle with 3 horizontal black lines running through it. She'd never seen a logo like that before. But the same triangle logo was on the jugs of water that also appeared with the deliveries. She opened the box. Inside looked kind of like chopped spinach. It was green and mushy, but it didn't smell like spinach. It smelled like decaying wet grass.
It looked like shit. It looked like somebody that don't eat vegetables or ate too many vegetables. It looked like shit. Call it what it is. It looked like a big cake of shit. It don't look like no goddamn vegan meal or no goddamn prep meal. It look like shit.
One day, Marissa asked Rachel for a taste, but Rachel said no. She said the food would make her sick. Then there was the bathroom incident, when Rachel tried to take her own life. One afternoon, Marissa came home and smelled something metallic. Rachel was standing over the bathroom sink, making strange, rhythmic wheezing sounds. Then Marissa saw what happened. Rachel had cut her wrists. But Rachel's blood looked strange. It was pink and watery, not red and thick. Marissa quickly grabbed Rachel's arm to try to stop the bleeding. Then she felt the cuts start to move. Rachel's skin was healing. Within seconds, the cuts were gone. Marissa wanted to call someone, but Rachel said no. No doctors, no hospitals. Nobody could know. But she promised something like this would never happen again. One morning, Marissa left class early and headed home. When she got to her building, she saw a big black car parked out front. And the license plate was strange. It was completely blank, except for that same red triangle logo that's on Rachel's food. Marissa opened the door and heard voices in the kitchen. They were low and deep, 2 men, speaking to Rachel in formal, official-sounding sentences. Through the kitchen doorway, she saw shapes at the table, 2 figures in dark suits and hats. One had a black case open. After they left, Rachel said they worked with Harry at the base and checked on her every 2 weeks. A few weeks later, Marissa was in her room when she heard them enter the apartment without knocking. She heard furniture scrape across the floor. Then the men were shouting. And for the first time, Rachel screamed. But it was not that robotic sound from the early days. Her scream sounded human, and she was terrified.
Rachel?
That night, Marissa called her mother, Helen, told her everything. The healing wounds, the food deliveries, the men in dark suits. Marissa waited for her mother to say she was crazy. Marissa knew she sounded crazy, but Helen wasn't surprised by any of it. Helen grew up in Rome, New York, a small town outside Utica. She spent as much time as she could in the woods. That's where she'd go to see the light. She first saw the light when she was 8, a shining ball of blue hovering just above the ground, the most beautiful blue she'd ever seen. She should have been afraid, but she wasn't. Something about the light made her feel calm and safe. For 5 years, she'd sneak off to the woods to see the blue light, and every time she did, she got closer and closer to it. And when she was 13, she finally reached out and touched it. And that's when everything changed.
Like some media man.
And for the first time, the light spoke, with thoughts directly into her mind.
They want to know if I'd like to have a baby. And I said, of course not, I'm too young. And they said, that's all right, you don't have to have one now. Later you'll have one. And when you do, it will look like you, but it will be like them.
Ellen asked who them was, but she didn't get an answer. So she just got a feeling of a vast intelligence beyond anything she could understand. And that was the last time Helen saw the blue light. 7 years later, Helen got married and moved to a new town. The blue light faded into memory, mostly forgotten. But the promise it made when she was a girl was about to come true. Early spring 1951, a woman Helen had seen around the neighborhood invited her for a walk. Helen's husband was out of town, so she thought some company might be nice. During their walk, the woman said she needed to make a quick stop to see a friend. She led Helen to an old office building. Inside, it looked like a doctor's office. Then the woman disappeared down the hall. A doctor came out and insisted on examining Helen. He said she didn't look well, so she reluctantly agreed. Helen laid down on the examination table, and as soon as her head touched the surface, she was blinded by a blue light.
They tell me to hold still, be quiet. It'll be over soon. Nobody will ever know. I want to fight. I want to get off the table, but I can't move. The light pushes me down, but I'm not tied down. I just can't move.
The light came closer and closer. Then Helen felt it in her body.
I feel like they're putting something inside of me. It hurts. It hurts so bad.
Then nothing. When she opened her eyes, the light was gone, and the woman who brought her there was standing right next to her, ready to walk her home. Helen was too groggy to argue. Helen was in pain for 2 days. 6 weeks later, she realized she was pregnant. But that was impossible. Her husband was out of town.
They say the child will be like any other. Since it's my first, I won't know the difference.
She told herself the visit to the doctor wasn't real, just a bad dream. But she remembered what the light had promised. It will look like you, but it will be like them. 9 months later, Marissa was born. In 1955, Air Force recruit Harry Nadian received orders for specialized training. His assignment? ATIC, Aerospace Technical Information Command, a highly classified unit responsible for investigating unidentified flying objects and alien intelligence. The classroom was small, 6 airmen, 1 instructor, no windows. The lieutenant opened a folder marked with a single word, magic. Inside were photographs, crashed spacecraft in the desert, bodies recovered from the wreckage, small, gray, definitely not human. Harry was assigned to a facility called Four Corners, nowhere near the actual Four Corners region. This one was in the Nevada desert, a sister installation to Area 51. Officially, it didn't exist. Trespassers were shot on sight. Four Corners didn't look like much, and that was intentional. The real base was underground.
Power levels are fluctuating, Doctor. Increase the coolant flow. We must stabilize the reaction immediately.
Within a few months, Harry discovered he had a gift. He could communicate telepathically with the Greys. Most humans couldn't do this. Our minds are too cluttered. But Harry's mind was open, and the aliens noticed. They began requesting him specifically, first as an observer, then as an interpreter, then as a liaison between the visitors and human scientists. By 1966, Harry was in command of the entire facility. That's when he met Chisky, their leading geneticist. Chisky understood both human and alien genetics. That's because he was a hybrid. Human DNA spliced with an alien from the Zeta system. Chisky looked similar to Rachel. He was small and thin. He had large blue eyes and pale yellow skin. According to Chisky, all humans were engineered.
You were designed to be harvested. Your DNA, your genetic diversity, we built that into you. Every generation we return. We take samples, we make improvements. We have been doing this since before your species could write.
Designed to be harvested, huh? You're basically organic, free-range, farm-to-table humans for alien chefs.
Well, Harry asked why they needed human DNA. Chisky explained. His species had been cloned.
See, this is similar to what they're doing in the military right now as well, where they're pretty much certain people are being used as, experiments, for lack of better terms. People are being experimented on, and these are one of the projects that they're actually doing. They're at, Area 51 and other locations. I believe Antarctica is another location where they're doing these type of experiments on people. And pretty much, they're just integrating, like I said, the DNA to see how, regular people would interact with one of the reptilians, and how they could, eventually try to just say, hey, we're regular just like you.
Themselves for too long.
It's not going to work like that.
They lost the ability to reproduce naturally. Humans shared the same genetic heritage going back millions of years. Harry finally understood how important his assignment was. The hybridization program wasn't about creating soldiers or slaves. It was about saving a dying species. In September 1969, a huge craft spiraled out of control over the desert. Harry led the recovery team to the crash site. The wreckage was still burning when they got there. 3 bodies in the debris, small, gray, dead on impact. But Harry saw movement in the rear compartment. He entered the burning craft and pushed through the smoke. He found a sealed door and touched what looked like a control panel. It opened. A tiny, frail figure was trapped under a fallen equipment panel, smaller than any gray Harry had ever seen, and different. Humans can't tell the sex of a gray by looking at them, but this little being was definitely female, and her eyes were strange, not the solid black orbs of the typical grays. Her eyes were a soft, dark green, rounded at the inner corners and angling up toward her temples. And her eyes had depth. They were almost human, except for the pupils that were vertical slits like a cat or a reptilian, right? Harry understood immediately. She was part human. He carried her out of the wreckage and brought her back to Four Corners. Underground at level 8, Chisky examined her. He'd been expecting new arrivals from the hybridization program.
She is from my star system, possibly even my planet. She is a hybrid, but her blood contains human DNA markers. The 3 who died were her family. She is now alone. With proper care, she could become quite humanized, more so than any hybrid I have seen.
She had traveled from Zeta Reticuli to learn to live among humans. Now her family was dead, and she was alone. Harry made a decision the moment he looked into her green eyes. He would raise her as his daughter. He named her Rachel. The adoption required approval from ATIC HQ and the National Security Council. Harry made his case. Rachel was the first young hybrid, the first female, and the most human-like hybrid they'd ever seen. If anyone could integrate into society, it was Rachel. The approval came within hours. Too fast, Harry thought, but he didn't complain. Then the work began. ATIC sent a language expert to work with Rachel. She learned to form sounds into words, then words into sentences. Chisky developed Rachel's food, a dark green nutrient paste. She couldn't digest meat or process food. The food was packed in white boxes marked with a red triangle, the symbol of the humanization project. Rachel looked almost human, but not human enough that people wouldn't notice. So she was given hats and scarves to hide the shape of her head, always long sleeves to cover her thin arms, and sunglasses. She would always have to wear sunglasses. And after 3 years of training, Rachel was ready.
3 years of training to pass as human, eh? I know a few tech company CEOs that might want to take that course.
Harry received transfer orders, liaison duty at an Air Force base in California, a desk job, perfect for a single father raising an unusual daughter. He enrolled Rachel at American River Junior College, but she couldn't live alone. She needed a roommate, someone patient, someone kind, and someone who wouldn't ask questions. Someone who couldn't see what she really looked like. Harry was surprised the housing coordinator had the perfect match, a legally blind girl, quiet, patient, desperate for a roommate who would pay half the rent. Harry thought this was an amazing coincidence or a stroke of good luck. He had no idea that ATIC had been watching Marissa for months. Helen drove to Sacramento to see Marissa, and she wanted to see this roommate for herself. Marissa introduced them at the door. Rachel was polite, soft-spoken, and strange. She wore an oversized hat and wraparound sunglasses, even inside. Her voice was flat and careful, like she was reading from a script. Helen tried to shake her hand, but Rachel flinched. She didn't want to be touched. Later, near the kitchen, Rachel tripped on a bump in the carpet. Helen grabbed her arm to stop her from falling, and in that moment, everything Helen believed about the world changed. Rachel's skin, her eyes, the flood of fear directly into her mind. Helen let go. Rachel pulled up her sunglasses and ran back to her room. Helen left and sat in the car for 20 minutes, confused and unsettled. She had no idea this was an experiment. She also didn't know the experiment had failed. That night, Rachel contacted Harry. He arrived at the apartment the next morning and called a meeting, all 4 of them. He told them everything. The Air Force, the classified training, the underground base, the crashed spacecraft, the humanization project, an experiment to see if hybrids could integrate into human society.
She's supposed to be like people, but she can't do it. She tries, and it doesn't work out. She doesn't look the same. No matter what she does, she can't pull it off. And she says, I sound funny. I try to talk like the other people, and I cannot do it.
Marissa spoke first. She said she didn't want Rachel to leave. Rachel had been kind to her, patient. Marissa didn't care what she looked like. Then Rachel said something that shocked Helen.
I have never had a mother. I do not know what a mother is supposed to be. I wish you were my mother.
Helen said that was sweet and almost dismissed it, but Rachel had more to say.
Maybe you do not remember. Someday you will remember.
Suddenly, Helen felt something she couldn't explain. Recognition. Harry saw the feeling flash across Helen's face. Then he asked about the moment she'd caught Rachel's arm and looked into her eyes. Did Rachel say anything to her? Helen said no, not out loud. Harry nodded slowly. He had to say something else. The truth about Helen. For years, Helen struggled to piece together the memories of what happened between Marissa and Rachel all those years ago, so she underwent hypnotic regression with Dr. June Steiner. The regressions unlocked everything. Helen remembered being in the girl's apartment standing in the kitchen. Rachel was there. She looked at Helen and said, "I want to show you where I live." Rachel walked to the kitchen window, but when Helen looked, it wasn't the street outside. It was a white corridor. Rachel put her finger against the glass and told Helen to do the same. When their fingers touched the window, the kitchen dissolved. Suddenly, she wasn't in the apartment. She was underground in a round room lined with tanks. Inside the tanks were babies, floating in green liquid. They had pale skin and long, thin limbs.
This is where I came from.
But there was much more to Rachel's story than just a hybrid Harry had adopted.
Oh God. That I had a child that wasn't what I thought it was. When I looked in Rachel's eyes, that's why I thought they were so beautiful. She was maybe trying to tell me something then. Maybe she was trying to tell me the truth.
The embryo extracted in 1951 was taken to Zeta Reticuli, grown in a tank filled with green liquid, modified with extraterrestrial DNA, then returned to Earth. Rachel's alien family had brought her back to the planet where her human side had come from, back to the woman who was her mother. Helen looked into Rachel's eyes and felt recognition because somehow she knew, because a mother always knows. Helen sat with the truth. Rachel was her daughter, taken from her and grown on another world, returned to Earth in a craft that crashed in the desert. But there was more. Rachel also had DNA from the Colonel. Harry was Rachel's genetic father and her adoptive father, which meant Marissa and Rachel shared the same biological mother. They were half-sisters. Harry had wondered back in 1972 if it was all really a coincidence, how Marissa appeared at exactly the right moment, how everything lined up so perfectly. It wasn't a coincidence. ATIC knew who Helen was. They knew about the embryo. They knew Marissa was Rachel's half-sister before anyone else did. Even her tutor, Bobby, with his perfectly matching schedule, had been placed. The humanization project had specifically reintroduced Rachel to her own family. They wanted to see what would happen when a hybrid encountered her biological relatives, whether a connection would form, whether that connection could be controlled. Helen finally understood. The blue lights, the missing time, the surgery. It wasn't luck. It was a breeding program. 3 generations of women bred like lab rats. But lab rats are disposable. So with the failure of the humanization experiment, the military began tying up loose ends, and they would start with Rachel. Near the end of the spring semester, Rachel disappeared. She left a note taped to her mirror.
Dear Marissa, I will miss you very much, but I have left you a special gift to remember me by. Love, Rachel.
Marissa sat on Rachel's empty bed and read the note. Then she stopped. She wasn't using her magnifying glass. She looked around the room, the furniture, the window, the sunlight. Everything was sharper than it had been in years. Rachel could heal wounds in seconds. She healed herself after the crash. Now she'd done something else. Rachel healed Marissa's eyes. Marissa's retinas had been destroyed by diabetes when she was 13. For 6 years, she'd been legally blind. Now she could read street signs. She could see faces. She could finish college. She could complete most of the work for her master's degree. Rachel had given her sight back, but she couldn't heal the diabetes. When Marissa was 38, she died from complications of the disease she'd fought since childhood. But for 18 years, she could see. That was Rachel's gift. The Colonel chose Marissa because she was blind. He needed a roommate who would never see what Rachel really looked like. Rachel undid that. She healed the very condition that protected her cover. She chose her sister over the mission. And that was the final betrayal. The Humanization Project made a mistake. The scientists wanted their hybrids to simulate human emotion. They needed them to blend in, to smile at the right time, to laugh at a joke. But they didn't really want them to feel, just pretend to feel. Real emotion is dangerous. Real emotion creates loyalty. And loyalty to family is a threat to the mission. Rachel crossed that line. She loved Marissa and Helen. She called Helen mother. She called Marissa sister. She stopped reporting back to the base and started protecting her new family. The men in black noticed. The reports grew more alarming with each visit.
Subject displays emotional attachment to roommate. Subject refers to H. Luttrell as mother. Subject has ceased regular reporting.
But Harry saw it coming. He watched his daughter becoming more independent, more attached to her human life. He tried to protect her. He tried to smooth things over with ATIC. But the colonel knew how the military handled compromised assets. You don't fix them, you liquidate them. Two years after leaving the apartment, Rachel was dead, pushed down a flight of stairs.
She cared too much about me and Marissa. She was only allowed to go so far, and she went beyond that point. It wasn't time yet for that to happen. Then, she was gone.
According to Helen's regression, the order came from the military or the government, and the colonel knew it was coming. He was connected with her death, but not directly responsible. He wasn't even there, but he agreed it needed to be done. But Harry loved her, but he had orders, and somewhere along the way, he convinced himself that Rachel's death was necessary for the greater good of the project, but he was wrong. Years later, Helen learned that the colonel no longer believed the humanization project was good for mankind. He thought it became dangerous, that the hybrids were being used. But by then, it was too late for Rachel. But Harry could still do one thing. He could make sure someone eventually told the truth. That's why he told Helen everything. He couldn't save his daughter, but he could make sure that she wasn't forgotten. A blind student finds a roommate with mushroom skin and green eyes. Her father, an Air Force colonel, reveals she's a human-alien hybrid, part of a government experiment. That's the story Helen Luttrell tells in her book, Rachel's Eyes. And Helen says this is 100% a true story. But is it? The main problem is, everything comes from Helen's book.
There's always a book.
Right. And Helen wrote a few of them, but they're all sort of a rehash or a small expansion of the same story.
Cash grab?
It feels like it. There's nobody around to confirm any of it. Marissa died before the book was written. Colonel Nadian has never been found. And in later books, his name changes a little bit. Helen's encounter happened in 1972. Her hypnosis didn't happen until 1998. 26 years is a long time, especially for memory. And hypnosis is controversial. It can create false memories just as easily as it recovers real ones.
Hypnosis can create false memories, huh? Well, so can cable news. At least hypnosis doesn't have commercials for erectile dysfunction. Not that I noticed that.
Helen describes classified projects like Magic and Pounce. But all this information was circulating in UFO literature long before her regressions. All the names were changed. There's no record of the apartment or that roommate arrangement. But there is one piece of physical evidence that's in one of Helen's books. Investigators contacted American River Junior College. The college sent a letter back on official stationery confirming that a student named Rachel Nadian attended classes there in 1972. That was the smoking gun. But not so fast. When investigators went back to follow up, the letter was gone. The employee who signed it was transferred, and the college files listed no record of anyone named Rachel Nadian. It was like she was erased from history. But there are some things that are true. Helen Luttrell is real. She wrote the book under her own name and faced decades of ridicule without changing her story. Her therapist, Dr. June Steiner, staked her reputation on this case. And Helen was warned years before the book came out that if she ever spoke of the humanization project, harm would come to her and her family, but she published anyway. And others who knew Marissa remember Rachel.
I remember her saying that Rachel couldn't go out in the sun. She wore sunglasses all the time, even indoors. Apparently, her skin had an odd texture. Rachel didn't eat regular food. She had to eat special food that came in little white boxes. Then Marissa told me that the girl disappeared, that she didn't know where she went, that this roommate just was gone.
Helen's story stays consistent. Her descriptions of Rachel's skin and eyes never change. False memories usually shift over time, but Helen's didn't. Her emotional response was also very intense. Sobbing, trembling, she was in genuine distress. Trauma therapists say those reactions are hard to fake. The evidence doesn't prove the story's true. A single witness, recovered memories, no physical proof. Any prosecutor would throw this case out. But if the story were fabricated, the details should shift. The witnesses should contradict each other. They don't. Now, skeptics say Helen has PTSD from growing up in an unstable household, a violent marriage, and she's experienced something through the only framework that she can make sense of. Or maybe she's telling the truth. Whatever Rachel was, hybrid, human, or something else, she mattered. She wanted to belong. She learned to speak our language and walk through our world. Rachel formed bonds. She healed her sister's eyes. She felt compassion, empathy, and love. She became human in all the best ways possible. And that's the tragic irony of this story. She became more human than the people who raised her. And then they killed her for it. Thank you so much for hanging out today. I'm AJ. There's Hecklefish.
I am called Hecklefish. It is a pleasure to meet you, human.
This has been the Y-Files. If you learned anything or had fun, do us a favor, like, subscribe.
WY Files episode. That is based on a actual true story. Of course, the names were changed for protective policy, privacy reasons, for privacy policy reasons. The names were protected, of course. But like I said, they do have those type of projects being held in places like Antarctica, possibly Alaska, but Antarctica definitely. Over the seas of the Gulf, as well as Area 51. They are doing experiments on people literally daily. In the military, the CIA wife talked about the military projects that they are doing on different people, and the Human Hybrid Project is one of them as far as integrating DNA, human DNA with reptilian blood to see if they can make their own human hybrid of people that can live among regular human beings so that, you know, when it comes for a regular politician wants to reveal itself to the public, of course, quote unquote, certain ones, presidents and whatnot, when they want to reveal themselves, they'll be regular and normalized to the human eyes. So again, that's just one of those things that, you know, not even make you go, but you understand. You definitely understand. I know it's getting late for some of y'all out there. It's about 2:30 in the morning for some of y'all. It's 1:30 in the morning here. I'll be putting out videos tomorrow. The Diddy doc will be on Patreon. And then I'll be back. If not, I'll be back Monday night. I'll be back on Monday night. For sure. So we gonna go how we came on in. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Who the Man, Swayze World. Thank you, Who the Man, once again. Tamiko Show, Fantamos Fanto, Ivorani. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. Love y'all. All right, where are we?
easy. I am gonna take Ray J's phone. Give me your phone, Ray. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, give me your phone. Ray, thank you for your phone, Ray. Thank you. We love you, Ray.
I feel a little violated. I'm fine about it, though. I won't press any charges. I know better.
Multiple gunshots clear the block. The fun stops. Snitches is calling cops. People shot. Nobody stopped. I wonder when the world stopped caring. Last night 2 kids shot while the whole block staring. I will never understand this society. First they try to murder me, then they lie to me. Product of a dying breed. All my homies trying weed. Now the little baby's crazed, raised on Tennessee. Tell me will my enemies flee when they see me? Believe me, these dogs gotta learn to take it easy. Listen, through intermissions, search your heart for a plan. And we turning bad boys to grown men. It's on again. I give a holler to my niggas in the darkest corners. Roll a perfect blunt and let me spark it for you. One love from a thug nigga. Rolling with a posse full of paranoid drug dealers. To the end, my friend. I'm seeing nothing but my dreams coming true. While I'm staring at the world through my rear view. See, I'm seeing nothing but my dreams coming true. While I'm staring at the world through my rear view. They got me staring at the world through my rear view. Go on, baby, scream to God, he can't hear you. I can feel your heart beating fast, 'cause it's time to die. Getting high, watching time fly, and all my motherfuckers shit like that.
Lets me further know what it is you really do.
Bullshit.